Alright, this tells me I'm live, so even though I can't see it on the screen for some reason, do I have to... An error occurred. Reset, reload. There we go. All the bright, shining glory here. Hello, Ben. Why so early today? What else are we going to be doing? Birthday's tomorrow, all right. Well, at least you won't have anything planned, I guess. I don't know. Having a day full of nothing going on for my birthday would be absolute heaven, so. Let's see. Yeah, I'm awake and home for one of these. All right, yeah, I figure a few people might be able to make it. I'm awake, need Red Bull, lots of Red Bull, maybe some vodka. I have some scotch. Probably tap into a little bit later. I'm about to make a pot of Black Rifle. My wife got me some stuff that was Death Wish coffee. So, same thing we do every day, Pinky. Reminds me of Friday. Happy Falcons blew a 25-point lead day. Yeah, that too. Third shift control operator at a jail, so just flirting with being a zombie. Grilling, beers, normal Saturday, and definitely not a normal Saturday for me. So that's why I'm able to do this at whenever in the afternoon. This is gonna be different when things go back to normal, which isn't gonna happen for another 30 days or so. Shawnee County, which is where Topeka is at, is on lockdown for the next 28 days. It started Thursday, and the entire state's locked down until April 19th, at least, which is another 3 weeks. So, no climbing over bridges and dodging snakes and raccoons. And saw some muskrats last week. Beavers, plenty of beavers, snapping turtles, those big yellow zipper spiders, what I call them. We'll give a few minutes for everybody to kind of... Glad you're on to talk bowling. Well, there may be some other stuff going on. I am drinking Bubbler. This stuff's really good. This tastes like... I mean, it's raspberry, lime, and citrus. It's antioxidant sparkling water. It's got stevia in it, so it doesn't have any sugar in it. And it tastes like cotton candy. I mean, it tastes like carbonated cotton candy, so... Fantastic. Or in our case, plot on how to break into the bowling alley, turn it on so we can practice. I haven't done too bad with that. The last week's been pretty awesome. I wouldn't mind. I'm at the point now where I'm not really like jonesing for it yet, but I wouldn't mind going out and practicing. But if I can't, it's kind of like, okay, oh well. Hey Cassie. Cassie. Got a Mountain Dew Game Fuel. Yeah, Saturday's going well so far. Slept in, got a little something to eat. Heavyweights is on Disney Plus, by the way, as is Willow and Return to Oz, which is creepy as hell, but it's fun. There's all kinds of stuff on Disney Plus that didn't even know that was on Disney Plus. But yeah, discovered Heavyweights today. That was pretty awesome, so started watching half of that. China finally found the person that started the coronavirus. Ah, Chu. Interesting. Just purchased an IQ Tour Solids, my second ball ever, and I'm just getting the hang of learning to hook the ball, so my rev rate is not big. Will me and the IQ do good? I think so, as long as you play straighter. It's a great ball to learn how to hook. because it's not going to be, it's going to give you enough hook without being uncontrollable or like crazy on the back end or something. So yeah. All right, I can't ignore this anymore. I think we've got some people in here, so I can start going. But because the scent, the smell here is just absolutely going nuts here. So I've wanted to have like a phase collection for a while, and overseas bulls being expensive and whatever, it's kind of hard to. Rocco, you're worrying me here. Surprisingly agile. Wanted to have a phase collection, and due to overseas balls being as expensive as overseas balls are, it's been kind of a slow process, and so it'll be get one ball, and then a couple months down the road try to find another, and then a couple months down the road try to find another. And the problem with that is some of these are unicorns. Like, some of them are going to be really, really tough to find and or really expensive before too long. I did find an original phase, the OG, triple OG original, that's the kind of the Easter looking pastel colors with the phasing and whatever, not the more typically pearl looking one, which I'd rather have the OG anyway. I know that the other one's part of any real phase collection, but I have the original, which is the one that I wanted anyway. And then thanks to a number of friends, I've found two of the other super rare unicorn hard to find ones. The Phase Tour, found from Tani Shabani. The Phase G, I can't remember off the top of my head right now who I got that one from, but it's a friend on Discord. No, James Yoon. I got that from James Yoon, and then thanks to Mr. Edwin Segovia, I got the other unicorn, which might be outside of the Phase Tour, the toughest one to find. My wife actually did this deal, but I got a Phase Frenzy. So this was the next toughest one to find. The Tour, I got lucky on. Tony's a good dude. He's just awesome. So that one was going to be the next toughest one to find. The Phase G is pretty tough too. Luckily enough, James was, offloading some of his stuff. And then this was the one that I didn't think that I was going to get, because I'd put stuff out there for it before and it just hadn't really happened. But Phase Frenzy, and this smells like mulberry, and it actually smells like the strawberry from the X Factor Triple Extreme, which is like the best smelling ball of all time. So like that strawberries and cream, just, man. And this is, it's super scented. But the other ones that are going to be, the other ones I'm not so worried about. They may not be around, really, the dark phase and the warp phase, but they're not like the prettiest looking balls, and neither is the Phase Star, plus it's just like R2S Pearl or something, so not terribly concerned about getting those. And of course I can still order a Phase 2 and a Phase 3, so when I get that whole collection put together, that's going to be a whole lot of fun. I'm not worried about the pink phase too much, because it's more of a different special edition. It's one that's, it would definitely be a collector's item, but that I'm more interested in the regular ones that are just kind of regular production, not the special edition, fundraising, whatever type things. So I need a dark phase, a warp phase, and a Phase Star. Now they also have the Phase 0 coming out overseas at some point. So yeah. So good start on the Phase collection. So that's a lot of fun. Let's see here. Oh, yeah. Huh. Yep, I was almost late too, James, so don't worry about it. All right. The Verizon store in Topeka is closed, and so it's the one in Lawrence we had to go to Manhattan to get my mother's phone fixed. Yeah, there's not going to be a whole lot of anything going on. So, which is good or bad depending on your personal opinions. So, oh, my drink is Screwball peanut butter whiskey and root beer. That would actually be, I was going to say that the Screwball peanut butter whiskey is really, really good, but I wouldn't mix it with anything because I'd have no idea what to mix it with. Root beer, on the other hand, I think that's the thing. I might have to try that. What kind of gems do you have lying around in your basement? Well, I talked about the phase stuff. A couple of them I drilled, but a couple of them are going to stay undrilled. I have a secret code, which is basically a code, or basically a code black, or a code 0. I also have a code, I think it's called the code 0. So I have one of those. I've got a Virtual Tour exclusive. Tani also sent me an Eternal Domination. I've got my Halo Burn, which I've always been a big fan of. That actually gets thrown quite a bit. I need to fix my Marvel Max SE. It's that really pretty blue and the blue and white one. I need to get that one fixed because I want to throw that one again, actually. I've got a Zero Gravity. New in box, of course. I've got an Intense. I've got a No Rules Pearl. I've got a Hectic. What else? I've got something else down there that I can't see at the moment. Mr. Bill Walker sent me an IQ 30, the teal one. That one had a problem, though. It's got kind of a cracked pin, so it's nothing that I could drill, nothing that I would drill anyway. My wife's got a Spin down here, which is an overseas performance rental, but it's basically the Optimus, and it smells like the root beer from the Crux Pearl, so that's fantastic. So I've got a few unicorns sitting around. The Zero Gravity was something I always wanted one of those, but I never got to throw it, and somebody here locally just happened to mention in passing that they had one for trade, and so the trade worked out. So I think that's what I've got. I was gonna do an old school type list of stuff. The other things I've got sitting here on my shelf that I threw forever ago. I've got one of my IQ Tour Nanos sitting up here, but I've got a Depth Charge. I've got an El Nino 2000. I've got a Supercharge. I've got a Hot Wire that doesn't have the labels on it anymore, and I'm pretty sure I've got a Red Zone up there. So I've always kind of bummed out because I wanted to collect a few things. I don't want to end up like some people that have just stuff laying everywhere, but I've started to build a nice little collection, so I'm pretty happy about that. Does coarse tape typically decrease rev rate versus smooth tape or no tape at all? No, it's just release speed. Some people, and actually the different textures are for people with different skin textures. Some people have a little bit moisture skin. And I don't know what that was all about. Missile, what are you doing? She just got excited, I guess. Yeah, Heavyweights, I love that movie. Yeah, it's great. It's on Disney Plus now. So I can't remember what okay, the thumb tape. It's more for people with different textured or different skin. So if you've got drier hands, it's a lot harder to hang on to the ball, and so using textured tape actually helps you get a little bit more grip onto it. Actually helps you hold on to it. Obviously, you don't want to hold on to it too well, but at the same time, when you have skin that's that dry, like there's some guys, we have a Goodyear plant here in town, and there's some guys that work there, and just working with all that stuff, even with gloves, I mean, naturally your hands just kind of dry out, and so even, there's one thing you want to clean and release, but not being able to have in your hands so dry that you literally can't hang onto the ball is kind of rough to begin with, so. This is a big one. How do you become a pro bowler? You practice a bunch, and I was going to kind of talk about some stuff like this anyway. So this is an okay question. Hopefully, James is going to be answering a lot of questions here for the next 10 minutes or so. Maybe not. How do you become a pro bowler? Well, number one, you have to practice a lot. Number two, you have to forget about a whole lot of the typical stuff that most bowlers might think would be applicable. Your average on a house shot doesn't matter at all. You have to let go of some of the, I don't know what, oh, Bork. What is this? Wow. Cassie sent me $10. Cassie, #1 fan. You've got a nice little, and man, I'm trying so hard, and the wife is going to get on me for this, but I'm trying so hard. Thank you, Cassie. I really appreciate it. Cassie's from Kansas City. She's 12 years old, and I've known her dad since we bowled in youth leagues together 20 years ago. And they're in Kansas City now. And Cassie's a big fan of the channel, and we got to... and she just wouldn't believe that you know, me and her dad used to bowl leagues together. And so I got her a little care package. So a little care package for now. And that's all I'm going to say. But thank you, Cassie. I appreciate it. This is a cute little sticker or whatever that's down here with the the little, there's a custom emoji picker, plus there's that little $sign down there if you want to send any donations my way. If not, that's totally fine too. So did Cassie leave me a question down here? Thank you, Cassie. As soon as this is all over, I'm going to see you sometime. Oh, Mr. Bill answered the question. Get good, get sponsors. Yeah, you smell it before you see it. Oh, the secret code. Yeah, the secret's definitely, it's like Maple Madness. It's not one of my favorites. The Phase Frenzy, on the other hand, I didn't know it was going to smell that good. I will outbid you for that green idol. She's already got a green idol. All right. I got to find where... Hello, Edwin. Thank you. Yeah. It's mine now. Thank you. All right. How do you become a pro bowler? Talking about a little bit of that. You have to basically have a completely different attitude than what you have in league. You have to forget about blaming the lane guy for the lanes. You have to forget about saying, oh, you know, complaining about carry. You have to forget about all of this normal stuff that bowlers will normally talk about, and you're not going to be into does the CG matter, or you know, what ball should I get, or whatever. These guys, bowling balls are just tools. They don't care which one they're going to use. They don't ever throw a certain ball because they just like it and want to throw it. That doesn't ever happen. They'll sometimes complain about carry, but at the same time, they know when it's actually bad carry or when they're not matched up well. All pocket hits are not created equal, and I've always been somebody that said you absolutely can practice carry because it's a matter of matching the ball and the surface and your game and the lane surface all up together to get the pins down. And there's if you go back and watch some of the old PBA shows, you can see what I mean when they had plastic balls or urethane balls or whatever, and they're, you know, the ball's going backwards into the pocket and splashing stuff everywhere, but the pins went down. And people back then, when you didn't have all these powerful bowling balls that would throw pins all over the place, they knew what it took to get the pins down. And so that was matching up their angles and doing different things and putting a little bit different tilt on the ball or changing like little physical things. And bad carry is a product of not being matched up well or not being in the right place doing the right things. So, like I said, I think that you can definitely practice carry because it's what I got distracted because I saw another one that I forgot about, the IQ Tour Rising that's on the floor here. That I saw. I need to get another set of shelves to put some stuff on because we're kind of running out of room here. But anyway, so yeah, becoming a pro bowler is you have to just forget all the league nonsense and not saying that it's all complete nonsense, because it's a ton of fun for the most part. But you can't really think that way. You have to think about lots of practice, lots of picking up spares, lots of drills. If you follow, like Verity Crawley's a really big one for drills, and she's always doing, she's always working out. She's doing this drill or that drill, a bunch of stuff that's very not glamorous and very kind of not what you would really think, but it's tough. I've never even bowled a PBA regional because it's just not. And I suppose from my perspective, we see so many professional bowlers in this area anyway that I know what good looks like. And so if there's a difference between good local bowlers, which were the people that I watch coming up in youth leagues, and then going and seeing what actual good bowling is when the scoring pace for a tournament is like 210 or 215, and the good bowlers are averaging 240 and making it look easy. That it's such a huge difference. You just got to practice a lot, and practice on tough stuff, and practice versatility, and it's just absolutely unreal what all it takes to be a professional. I mean, you can go bowl a professional tournament and kind of, get in there and mix it up with them, but actually becoming good or becoming a legitimate professional bowler it's tough. So, all right, now I'm going to catch up on all these questions. That you ever thrown any of the virtual gravities or virtual gravity nano and gravity pearl available for a pretty good price on SRG BBFS or whatever it's called on Facebook? Yes, I know all about SRG BBFS. Did I turn the wrong direction? I did. It's right there. Hashtag staffer. No, I don't think I ever threw any of the virtual gravities. If I did, I'd want to throw the virtual gravity nano pearl because I love NRG pearl, period. So any pending storm releases, predictions? No, I don't know about anything at the moment. Not that's going to be here anyway. I think there's another Halo coming out overseas or something like that, but there's all kinds of different things. Predictions? I haven't really thought about it too much. Actually, I've been kind of disconnecting here, and so I think let's see. I think we're ready for another hybrid in the Premier line. We should be ready for. We're actually already ready for another hybrid in the HP4 line for Roto, since we've just got the UFO and the nuclear cell. I would like to see a Wild Streak Pearl, but I imagine they'll probably do something lower RG again, so I almost would like to see an idle hybrid. The hotline for Storm just needs to be completely revamped. Just discontinue everything and start over and do something else. Go back to making like punch-outs, wipeouts, lights out, the out series. HP2 line's doing really well. The new MVPs are really good, so I would expect to see an MVP solid here before too much longer. And then coming off the All Road, I'm not entirely sure what's the All Road and the Pitch Purple and the Thunder line. I'm not too sure where they're going to go with that. And then it might be nice, since we've got we've had a couple really strong releases here outside of the IQ Tour Emerald in the Master line. I think the other last couple were the Supersonic and the Axiom. So probably more something IQ-ish again then, or something Pearl. Something a little bit stronger Pearl than the Emerald. Something like an Idle Pearl. Are we getting any closer to the ball? The goals for the ball giveaway? I think that the Bowling Fix actually got to their goal. There's a couple of them that are close. DH Bowling's not too far away. They're a couple hundred people away. Ken and McFalls is a couple hundred people away. I think that a few of them are still a while but you can always go online or go onto their YouTube channels. All that their subscriber numbers are public information, so you can always go check yourself and see what's going on. And of course, if you're entered into their giveaways, every single time one of them hits a goal, they're going to give something away. DH Bowling actually has a ball giveaway going on right now. If you go check out their Axiom versus Omega Crux video, I'm pretty sure. If you go check that out, I had the information, I think, in the I got that link on my latest 1-minute review that they sent me for the Axiom. So there's a few of them getting close. There's a few of them that are still needing some work, but we will see. I'm getting all the idle balls. I got the Pro already. Just need the original and the Pearl. I would really like the idols are another series I'd really like to do. My wife's got a green idol that I think that's already been talked about down here. I'd like to collect the promotions actually, so I want one of those promotion tours, but I need to keep on the phase because I think that'd be the phases are going to be a really cool collection to have. Yes, the Frenzy is sexy, definitely. Kind of outdated, but is there a big difference between the High Road Nano and the All Road? Actually, no. A couple people have asked me about that, and they've got the same cover stock on them, just one's a solid and one's a hybrid. So I think that the original High Road Nano was better for me than the All Road is, but I've got I think that's another weird one that I got that I didn't really get along with the All Roads so well, which it kind of goes back and forth with High Roads. Sometimes I don't get along with some of them, and High Road Solid I don't think a whole lot of people got along with. I've had several High Roads. I've had several High Road Pearls. The High Road Nano, I was kind of back and forth on. It was solid, but there's nothing that really stood out about it. I think that was back around when I had a Torrent and a rocket ship and stuff like that too, and so that was a little bit too much overlap. Where I had those other two, and there's just no reason for a High Road Solid there, even with it being Nano. And then the High Road X I've actually got one of those that I'm going to drill lefty because I think that's going to be pretty amazing. That's one of those balls that looks good, but, I forgot to, the High Road X was one of those that looked good, but I always had a better reaction for whatever situation I was in. So that was just one of those unfortunate ones that I liked how it rolled, but I never really needed it, so... looks like a 900 Global Volatility. No, I think you're thinking of the Dream On. I think is the one that it looks like. The Warp Phase is tough to find as well. Yeah, I think, being that one's bright orange, I think some of those, the prettier ones, like the Phase Tour is the best looking one. I think it really just comes down to looks, how popular something's going to be. And the Frenzy looks good and smells good. And then the Tour and the Phase G were the other two that I'm sure I can find a Warp Phase somewhere. Badger Extreme. Oh, yeah, it does kind of look like the Badger Extreme Solid, too. I just got an original Phase to try to put the collection together. Yeah, the rest of them are going to be tough. Should I buy new balls now and break games into them or get them right before a big tournament? Yeah, you never want to get stuff right before a big tournament because you want to have... I think that you want to have 15 to 20 games on something before you can throw it in league, but before you put it into tournament action, because you want to know exactly what's going on with all your equipment. You want to know it inside and out. You want to be able to, and this is one of those things going back to the going pro, their ability to make adjustments and commit to them and make them right now as opposed to waiting 4 or 5 frames too long. Again, I crossed with Matt Ogle in the PTQ for the 2018 U.S. Open, and he'd leave a 4-pin and either switch balls or move like 4 boards left, just instantly. He didn't wait. He tried to stay ahead of the transition. There was definitely plenty of hook in the middle, but he used his knowledge of what was going on. And if I left a 4-pin, I'd move maybe a couple boards left, or I'd just try to throw it better next time. Or I was like, well, I tugged that one a little bit, so I just need to make a little bit better shot. They don't wait for better shots. They know that they're going to make better shots, but they don't want to get themselves into a situation where they pigeonhole themselves into having to make exceptional shots. I mean, you want to be able to count on making good shots, but you want to make sure that you're as comfortably able to make good shots as possible. So the amount of the amount of the quickness that they get to making moves is pretty impressive and pretty incredible. And that's something that I've noticed for me, that if you see something that slightly worries you, just go ahead and make the move. And I think that once you have enough experience, once you're versatile enough, once you know your equipment well enough, you can just make the move and be right on top of something. And that's something that's kind of tough for for regular, like, amateur staffers to do, because most of the time they throw stuff because they want to throw stuff. It's the new ball out and they want to throw it, and so you're always going through this ball, that ball, whatever else. But the professional bowlers, they don't really care or pay any attention to it. If something comes out and they think that they're going to be able to use it to success, then they'll check it out. If not, they'll get around to drilling one when they haven't made a cut and they're just doing some practice rounds before the end of the tournament. So Phase Star on SRG BBFS right now. I have some connections, and so that's what the rest of these have come from. Tani happened to mention that, or I happened to mention that I still wanted a Phase Tour and didn't have one, and so he let go of that one. And then James Yoon gave me the head up on the Phase G before he posted it publicly, and then that's kind of the same thing that happened with Edwin in the Phase Frenzy. He knew I'm collecting phases, and so these have kind of happened organically. It's not necessarily anything that I've gone out and pursued yet, so definitely not going to punch up all of them and make a video. I'm not going to punch up any of them. But yeah, I mean, so it'd be really fun to drill some of these, but at the same time, I couldn't, and especially if I liked them. That's the problem, right? That's the problem with the overseas stuff, is if you want to collect them, you almost have to buy two of them. Drill one and then stash the other one. So if you really, really like it, you have the other one available. And if not, you at least have one to stash that doesn't have holes in it. My problem with the Halo Burn right now is, since I went ahead and drilled that one, I like it so much and I can't find another one. And when this one goes, or if something happens to it, I'm just going to lose my mind, because it's one of the most important balls that I take around. It's just absolutely ridiculously amazing. So, all undrilled. Yes, they're all undrilled. Let's see. You played with a Storm Fight. Yeah, I actually did a video. That's one of my first videos ever. If you go back, the fight, I drilled it on the left side, because when I started doing videos, they were left-handed to begin with. So, yeah, the fight was really good on the left side. People were kind of mixed on the right side, but they were really good on the left side. Yeah, if you find a couple of dark phases, I'm down to purchase one. And those I think might be hard to. I might be discounting how hard those are going to be to find, just because the dark and the warp are older. They're a couple years old, and the older they get, the more I'd like to collect all the Cruxes. I know that there's still Alpha Cruxes out there. The original Crux is going to be tough. I think you could find a Crux Pearl anywhere. The Crux Prime and Alpha Crux, or not, the Omega Crux, are going to be the easiest ones, obviously, there. But looking at the Idle Pro or Wild Streak for medium dry house shot, about 350 revs, 15 miles an hour off the hand. Current use code red's a bit much. The Idle Pro and code red are kind of close, so if it's a bit much right now, I'd probably go Wild Streak. Because even on drier house conditions, once you get some games on it, once you get it shined up, it's still going to get down the lane pretty easily. So, yeah, I think probably, Jack, if Global's owned by Storm, then can staffers throw them or not? No, and it's always been kind of weird as to why not. They want the companies to operate separately, but giving the big conglomerates with, Brunswick's got 7 brands now, Storm's got a couple, and then there's some independents now. It would make sense to kind of pull 900 Global under our wings here, but I'm not sure why, and I don't know. I opened my bag today just to get a whiff of my Sonic. Yuck. Ugh. You should drill that virtual gravity ball. Yeah, the virtual gravity nano pearl, I would really, really want one of those, and that might actually be my replacement for the Halo Burn, but at the same time, I'm going to have to find something new. There's a UFO pearl that I imagine is coming out overseas. It's on the approved list, so this is nothing that nobody doesn't already know about, but the UFO pearl is Microtrax P20. So that's I want it. I mean, because that might be my Halo Burn replacement. So how hard would it be to get the OG Crux and lock? Where should I look? SRG BBFS is a Storm Order Grip Bowling Balls for Sale group on Facebook is where you want to look for anything. If you can't find it there, it doesn't exist. I mean, really, if you can't find one there, then either somebody doesn't want to let go of it, or it's just not out there. So they hit over they hit 20,000 members, and they have a bunch of different people on there that I know Jonathan Wong was one of the bigger ones that's got the majority of stuff. He can be a little pricey, but he can afford to be pricey because he's got it and nobody else does. So some local guys I know who are sponsored by Storm Motive believe that this coronavirus could delay a lot of bowling releases. Yeah, I wouldn't think they're not going to continue to release bowling balls if there's nobody out there bowling, there's nobody to buy them. Some stuff like the Axiom came out at an unfortunate time because everybody kind of wants one, but nobody can go out and bowl, and so it's going to be another month and a half, 2 months probably, before people can get back into the swing of things, and so nobody's going to... pro shops are closed. Most pro shops are closed right now anyway, so there's not going to be any way to get one or to go. Bowling alleys are closed, so there's just no reason to continue to release stuff. So that's actually going to be helpful from a certain standpoint, because then that gives them time to catch up a little bit and kind of prepare for the future, but at the same time, nobody's out there buying stuff and throwing stuff right now, so... and yeah, I think some people were worried about certain releases like the Axiom just being forgotten about. No, I think that they're going to wait. I think that once that things get back to normal, they're going to give it, or they should give it, a month and a half, 2 months, so people can start buying some of the stuff like the Axiom that didn't get a whole lot of attention. So tour the basement, probably show off all the gyms. Yeah, we've been thinking about that, but we're waiting for this other shelving unit so we can get stuff organized a little bit better. And then, yeah, I'll have a basement tour, and I can actually kind of show off the set and everything here too. It's definitely nothing spectacular, and I've got some boxes lined up here, the stuff that we drill and throw, and always keep boxes and the plastic that they come in, because if you decide that you're not going to throw something for a while and you stick it in the closet or something, always put it back in the bag and back in the box. That's going to be the best way to prevent cracking and stuff. Uh-oh, I got something else. Kratos, thank you for the donation here. There's Virtual Gravity Nano Pearl for sale on SRG BBFS right now. Hurry up and get it before it's sold. To be honest, it's probably already, you wanted $225. That's a really good price for that, so... I just bought a Phase Frenzy, though, so... And that's old enough that it would be a collector's item. Not so much something that I would want to drill. The older stuff gets, it continues to harden. And so once you get past about... 6, 7, once you start pushing a decade on something, the reaction's not going to be as good as it would be when it was new. And so I think it's going to be more one of those niche type reactions that's not going to be exactly how it was when it was new. But thanks for the tip and thanks for the donation. I really would like to have one of those. That'd definitely be really cool for the collection. I've got to focus on some stuff, though. Looking at the list, I didn't hear... Yeah, I said secret code kind of at the beginning. Yeah, doggy. She was sitting in her crate down here, and then she just yelped and ran upstairs, so I have no idea what... how much would the Super Idol and Green Idol cost? Can't find... Yeah, you'd have to be looking... yeah, the SRG BBF International... back down to Cassie's donation. Thanks again, Cassie. See you soon. Hopefully. Yeah, it was a code black. The secret code is a code black, code 0, just a recolor and resent, which is pretty cool. I like blue's one of my favorite colors, and so the secret code's kind of blue and silver and black, and then the code 0 is really pretty sharp. And let's see. Whoa, buddy. I just skipped a bunch of... Oh, man. Wow. Oh, man, I'm so far behind. All right, there we go. Keep going back and forth on an OG High Road versus Idle Pro. Well, they're nothing alike, so you can go on ahead and get both of them, actually. When can we hit the lanes again? May. It's probably going to be May. Probably going to be midway through May. But the longer people kind of don't quarantine themselves or whatever, the longer this thing's going to kind of spread around and be a problem. Been looking for sponsors for a while, no luck yet. Yeah, it's one of those things where you have to, number one, you have to be out there and know people. If a rep doesn't know who you are, or nobody he talks to knows who you are, then that's generally not a good sign, because the reps will know who are the good players in the area, who bowls a lot of tournaments, who's out there, and if you don't know any of the reps for the companies, that's generally a bad sign. I actually got kind of lucky with, my deal, because I contacted my rep with Storm, who I actually didn't know, but he talked to my boss at the pro shop, and my boss put in a good word for me, and so he went ahead and gave me an advisory deal. So I was Storm only the first year. I couldn't throw any roto grip, but then after that, obviously things kind of picked up. So the Frenzy is the same scent as the High Road Black Pearl, so if it smells as good as that, then yeah, it's freaking amazing. If you ever throw the Storm Rain of Fire, now I drilled a few for some people, but I think that's when I wasn't throwing Storm at the time, because I didn't throw any of the Rains. I think that was the time where I was kind of on hiatus, so... Melzy Belzy, my sister-in-law's on here. She must be really bored. I'm gonna come get some beer, by the way, at some certain point. You're probably out of all the sparkling. My brother did a beer. They did a stout that had like glitter in it, and so it looked all swirly, and it was really nice looking. I just haven't gotten over there to try any of their new stuff. They've had some new stuff that I haven't gotten to. Now I've got plenty of time right now, but they really can't have anybody over there, so I need to go get a couple of growlers. We keep talking about that, and we haven't actually made it over there. So, yep, current lockdown is through April 19th, which is my brother's birthday. Thanks. Haven't seen the Wild Streak on the lanes. A couple people using Pro here. They make it look pretty good, but they make everything look good. Very good bowlers. Yeah, the Wild Streak is one of those that's unfortunately... It doesn't have the shelf appeal, and so if somebody's not terribly interested in what the ball actually does, and then it's not bright and it doesn't stand out on the shelf, people kind of gloss over a little bit. And so the Wild Streak is one of those that's kind of flying under the radar. It's like a torrent, because the torrent came out at the same time that the first Belmo ball came out, the Timeless, and everybody just kind of looked right over the torrent, and the Wild Streak is something that shouldn't be looked over. I think that they waited a little bit too long to bring that core back, because not a lot of people are going to remember the Nomads, and it's got a new cover that nobody really knows much about. It's Sure Tracks 19. The Wild Streak is amazing, and even Schlemmer said it's kind of sucks, because it's one of the best balls we have in the entire catalog right now, which is saying something from the roto side, because they've just got home run after home run every time they release something. And he said, yeah, it's not getting a whole lot of attention or a whole lot of love, and I put some more videos out about it, and there's not a whole lot of people searching for it, but the Wild Streak is one there's very few balls where I'd actually order a case of if they got discontinued. The Wild Streak could be one of them. There's some other ones that I say that about but wouldn't actually do it. The Phase 2 would be one of them I do. The Idle Pearl is another one that I do, and then the Wild Streak. The rest of them be like, oh yeah, that sucks that's getting discontinued, and then I'd forget about it in a couple months. So Idle Pearl, Phase 2, and Wild Streak would be the three that I'd legitimately get a case of. So... Let's see. Thanks, Angel. My wife really likes your videos. Yep. That's why I make them. Yeah. Okay, great. The wife's ordering shelves right now. Yeah. Oh, Bork. Finally got a Rising. Yes, I finally did get a Rising. That one actually came from Mr. James Yoon, too. I got the Spin and the Rising from him at the same time, I'm pretty sure. Or no, maybe it was the... Maybe I'm backwards here. No, I think... Yeah, the Phase Tour actually came from James Yoon, now that I think about it. I get a ding-ding. Okay, never mind. Turnpike alert. The Phase Tour and the Spin came from James Yoon, and I got the Phase G from Tawny. And then we got the IQ Tour Rising later from James Yoon also, I'm pretty sure. So, yeah, the Phase G was from Tawny and the Phase Tour was from James Yoon. I remember now. Yeah, and the Rising is Angels, but it smells like pina colada, and she doesn't like coconut, so I'm not sure how that's working out. But the IQ Tour Rising, if you guys go back and look at I made a wish list video. If you look at it, the Phase G and the IQ Tour Rising were the balls that I featured in the thumbnail for that, and I always would send Chad something asking him why we didn't get the cool stuff like the stateside. And, oh yeah, I've got a box of Rising sitting right here at my desk. Thanks, Bucko. But he makes good stuff, so I'll let him off the hook for now. Let's see. Anyways, for junior practice on Sports Shots in Kansas, yes, the Paul Baumgartner runs a youth sport league, kind of a junior gold prep league during the summer, which normally gets started early in May. That might be pushed back a little bit with the virus thing. But yeah, once and he runs that at Westridge, so they have a different sports shot every single week, and they kind of because with junior gold they have a long, medium, and a short, and so he kind of rotates them. He'll have a long one week and a medium and then a short, and then he'll mix it up with several different ones because you never know which ones they're going to pick for junior gold. So yeah, so as soon as that league gets started up, do that. So yeah, if you really want to do PBA, set your expectations. Top half is a win the first 3 times out. Yeah, just not being last is generally pretty acceptable. And even then, you know, I was pretty happy with my finish. Well, I can't say that I was happy with my finish at the U.S. Open. Once I look back at it, I was pretty happy because I got half of my entry fee back. I got to bowl with Matt Ogle and Daria Payuk and James Sitters from Australia, he had a head injury back in the day, and so he has trouble walking, and he slides off of his wrong foot. But he came from Australia to bowl the PTQ, and he did okay, and it was pretty interesting to see somebody that that has some physical disabilities still out there and still bowling professional events, and not only doing that, but being pretty impressive, having to bowl off his wrong foot and everything. So that was a whole lot of fun too. Oh, Mr. Bill sent $20. I'm gonna have to come up. What do we got? Doggo Antler Fund Una. Yep, Angel's gonna have to order some more antlers. They've got some up there right now, but yep, add antlers to the order with new shelves. Yep, we're gonna get. Rocco likes the antlers too. He's our recent foster. He's a big black lab. And he's been a lot of fun so far. So, yep. Wow. There we go. Yeah, doing PBA stuff is... And somebody else told me that, you know, you have to get used to bowling tournaments to where they feel like league. And so whenever you go bowl something, you'd have to just go in there and bowl. You can't really get, oh, this is a tournament and I've got to do this or do that. Or if a couple $100 in brackets at a tournament rattles you a little bit, you're not ready. So you have to just go bowl. You have to walk in and just treat everything like it's league, or which means treating everything like it's practice, basically, because all league is practice for tournaments. And if you get too wound up about league, the tournaments aren't going to go much better. And if you can't bowl in just regular state, city, whatever else, or even the bigger tournaments you travel to, like Greater Ozarks or Tulsa or Greater Kansas City Open or something like that, if you get too wound up for those, you're never going to be able to bowl in a PBA tournament, especially when you're crossing with some of these bigger names. And, you know, it sent me for a little bit of a loop. I knew Matt Ogle going in, but bowling with somebody like Daria Payuk, too, who everybody that watches bowling knows about her. And so you have to be able to go step in there and bowl with these people. I mean, I bowled with them for 8 solid games. You can't be thinking about, oh my God, I'm bowling with so-and-so. Or crossing with so-and-so, because you're going to be paired up with somebody in a tournament, and in a PBA tournament, you might get paired up with get paired up with Bill O'Neill, and maybe you cross with Belmo a time or two, and somebody else. You've got to be able to get in there and be able to bowl instead of getting so wound up about the situation. I mean, that's step number one, is just getting comfortable with bowling with that caliber of people, and then, you know, being able to perform, and then being able to perform as good or better than them. And it's just, I mean, it's so, the levels to it are, it's just so ridiculously tough. It's not just like you average 230 or something on a house shot and bowl good at a couple tournaments and have a good set at nationals and then go be pro. I mean, you've got several stepping stones. It's just insane. So, yeah. I have a Silver Streak Pearl, which is basically a Wild Streak Pearl. Yeah. Yep. Punch Out needs to make a return. I missed that bowl. Yeah, maybe a Pearl with a core from the promotion. Yeah, I think that core is going to get used a whole lot. So, definitely going to get used a whole lot. Yeah, Punch Out was one of the best low-end balls, one of the best balls, period. It's pretty heckin' awesome. So, Supersonics is the one that got discontinued when the Axiom came out. Yep. Yeah, if the Phase 2 is not going to get discontinued. When I was talking with Hank Boomershine a couple months ago, when he was kind of making his way through here, he said, he made a comment that, you know, we've got a bunch of stuff that's been in the lines for a long time, and, you know, that's a good thing. But at the same time, I don't think that he was alluding to anything getting discontinued, but they've had a lot of stuff that's been there for a while, and it's kind of hard to. I asked Chad this one time. I asked him, how do you look at bowling ball design, or how do you go to building a new bowling ball when you've got so many balls that have been in the line for so long? Like, if they discontinued the high road, people would scream bloody murder. If they discontinued, same with they discontinued the IQ Tour, or the Phase 2, the High Road Pearl, probably if they let that one go, I think that one would probably be not necessarily forgotten about, but people would be okay with it more than like a High Road or an IQ Tour. Something like that, or the Phase 2, and now they keep, you know, the Physics is another one that people are going to get upset about if that gets discontinued. And he's like, well, we just got to keep looking for holes, and if we release something, it doesn't really resonate with people or doesn't work out so well, then that's a hole that we'll fill later. But the different things that they've been doing with the lines, I mean, they've got enough flexibility with what they're doing to have 2 or 3 lines within the same line. So I mean, they've got something like Rotogrip's HP3. If they keep doing some Wild Streak stuff, they can bounce back and forth between high RG stuff to really low RG rolly stuff. And Storm kind of does the same thing with the Thunder line. That's where they put the urethane stuff. Then they got the high roads, but then they could go back to making some rocket type stuff that's like 254 or 255 at 045 or something like that. So they can kind of bridge the gap between the urethanes and not go as high RG as the high roads, and give you something that's a little bit lower RG, a little bit further down the lines, because they don't really have anything underneath the master line that has kind of that middling RG. Everything's like 255 or 256, and then it just goes straight down to 249 or 250 or something. So if they could put some 253s, 254s in there somewhere, I think that'd actually be pretty good. But then they can do the same thing with the covers in the master line, because you've got the IQ Tours, But then you've got something like a supersonic or something like an Axiom, and then you have something in the middle that's kind of like a phase 2, and then we have the phase 3 that they brought the R3S Pearl down, and so they can go all kinds of different places within these lines, and so I think that they have a lot of flexibility to still keep those more popular balls in the line and introduce new and kind of different stuff while not having to discontinue something. So skip. What's the cover on the ProMotion Tour? It's R2X solid. Yeah, James got that one. I remember in high school, everyone got a Frantic when the Frantic was basically a like a stronger punch out. It was the same cover. So the Frantic was R2S hybrid, I'm pretty sure, but it was a stronger core than the High Road, and it didn't really act anything like it. So is the astrophysics good? Yes. James answered that one too, but yes, the astrophysics is pretty outstanding. I don't get to throw mine a whole lot. It's just a little too much flip. I watched all the videos on this channel for the Axiom Idol Pro and ProMotion, constantly debating which one I would get with the pitch purple. And they're all pretty different, so you might go for something a little bit. You might go for like Axiom Idol Pro. The ProMotion, the pitch purple shape pretty similar. The hook potentials are different. But yeah, the ProMotion, the ProMotion is one I wouldn't go anywhere without. Which is kind of odd because I don't put that in the category of, like, if it got discontinued, I probably wouldn't go buy a case of those. But at the same time, it's something that I don't want to go anywhere without. I just don't think that I use it often enough to where it's like the big important ball, like having the Phase 2 or the Idle Pearl or the Wild Streak. I would probably find something else that would be close. I just don't use it enough for it to be one of those super essential ones. Does it bother you when people drill gems like super rare bowling balls like the Lucid, Vivid, even the Alpha Crux? Not really. I think anybody that wants to drill something, I think it'd be a shame to drill something like a Phase Tour because they're so rare, and that one is amazing, and it smells amazing too. If it's something that's been remade several times, like the R2S Pearl codes come out like clockwork pretty well every couple of years, because we had the code black and the secret code and the code 0 and whatever else, or like there's several different High Road variants that keep popping up all the time. So even if something's older and kind of rare, if it's basically a High Road or a High Road Pearl, then I don't really mind too much. And then but yeah, something like I wouldn't see how somebody would be able to put holes in something like one of the old classic phases. But to each their own. I think it's just the thing again is if you drill one of those and you like it, you're screwed, because you're not gonna find anything else like that. It's just that's gonna be a one of a kind, and if you like it, you're either gonna have to spend another $300 to find another one, or just kind of deal with it. So, yeah, I don't see videos that compare by line, like comparing all in Premiere, everything in the Master High. I was actually, somebody recommended that to me a month or two ago, and that was something I was going to start getting into. And I think I actually need to do a couple of 2-month report cards too. I've been kind of taking a break from the bowling thing. This is probably when I should hit it even harder, but it's been so long since we've really had kind of a vacation or something, even when, because everything for the last several years has just been, the time has been full packed, whatever else. We work all week, and then I do bowling videos, and then if I'm not doing bowling videos, then we're at a tournament somewhere, or we're at a demo, or we're at this, or we're at that, and just kind of slowing down and taking a load off and kind of decompressing, I guess it'd be the best way to call it. Doesn't happen very often, and this is an opportunity to completely decompress, because there's nothing going on. There's nothing on the schedule at all. So I think just kind of letting things settle down and letting the brain kind of uncramp or whatever. And then once I start getting the itch or the nudge to start doing stuff again, then that's when I'm really going to get interested in wanting to do stuff. And so I just don't want to force anything right now. And I know that this would be probably the perfect time to make videos and stuff. And I do have a couple on the board, but I've got some other stuff I've been wanting to do for a while that just kind of unrelated to this. So I'll get back into it before too long. Name a ball that no one's talking about but should be talking about. The Wild Streak. That's the easiest one off the top of my head that should be going crazy, and it's not. I think the Omega Crux came up really big and then it fell off a cliff really fast, but that one, again, is one that I thought was good when I drilled it, but it wasn't anything I was probably going to be throwing a whole lot, and I've been getting it out before we were on the break here. I've been getting it out more and more recently, and I'm throwing it a whole lot more when I get it out. I was throwing the Wild Streak and the Phase 3 back and forth at League and at tournaments and stuff pretty well exclusively, and they started to slow down a little bit, so I think I needed to give them a break, and so I got the Omega out to kind of give them a little bit of a break, and it's good. So I would think the Omega Crux and the Wild Streak probably right now are the ones that need to be looked at. Closest Storm Roto ball to a Game Breaker 3, yeah, probably the Phase 2, probably. It's kind of hard to say because the Game Breaker 3 was a hybrid. The Phase 2 is probably a little too smooth. The Phase 3 is probably a little too flippy. The Supersonic rolled too heavy, so I'm not sure that there's anything that's really that close. If there was an idle hybrid, that would probably be the closest one, but we don't have one of those. So, I mean, maybe if you got an idle Pearl and you took it to 2,000 or 3,000, that might be close. But Nuclear Cell or Omega Crux for a house shot. Nuclear Cell, you're going to have a lot of speed, not a whole lot of hook, or a lot of wetness. And if you have a lot of wetness, a Pearl ball is not really the best thing. The Nuclear Cell really needs to be at like 3,000 or something. The shine on it I don't think is the best idea. Omega Crux is really turning into something being a lot better than I had expected or thought it would be. And again, it was good, but you know, when I drill so many bowling balls, being good enough to say, hey, this ball's pretty good and I'd recommend it, but being good enough to put into my bag that's already pretty full with stuff to begin with is tough. Is it weird I'm watching in the shower? I'm going to leave that alone. I don't think it's weird because people have all kinds of setups where they can listen to podcasts or watch stuff when they're in the shower and just to kind of get stuff going. So yeah, I don't know. Winter Solid, that's another one that kind of flew under the radar. It wasn't pretty and nobody really liked the Winter, but the Winter Solid was basically like a Torn or a rocket ship, so it was good. Overseas stuff is so expensive. Yeah, it's pretty expensive, and that's why the collection's been going so slow, because every time I'm looking at one of these, it's $250 or $300, and you know, it's one thing saying, yeah, I'd really like this, but when you're spending $250 a pop for something to just sit in a box on a shelf in your basement just for the sake of saying you have it is kind of hard to wrestle with sometimes, because thinking about all the stuff that I could buy that I would actually throw, like the Secret Code I might actually drill, because I had the Code 0 and I really like that. That's actually the ball I've had my highest set with, and I don't use switch grips anymore, and so I'd have to do some work on my Code 0 to get it back into action, and so I might just kind of leave it alone and drill the Secret Code instead, but there's going to be another R2S code come along sometime, so that would be one that I wouldn't really mind drilling too much. I need to get my Eternal Domination fixed up again. Throw that some. Then the Marvel Max SE is the other one that I want to get taken care of so I can start throwing that again. Ooh, I have a pair of Torrent Rushes. That's one that I always wanted, was the Torrent Rush. Why do you think the Sonic and the Supersonic flopped for most people? I think it's just because the core was so heavy rolling that for the Sonic, the cover wasn't strong enough to kind of balance that out. The core wanted to move now. It wanted to chug. It wanted to go. but the cover was weak enough to where if you did what you needed to do to get the ball down the lane, the cover wasn't enough to kind of get it going. And then the Supersonic was just a whole lot of smooth and chuggy and slow all over the place. It needed a lot of oil, and I think, you know, there's some people that made it look really good, but out on the PBA Tour, for example, where Norm Duke really loves it, he threw it a lot, but they have the kind of oil volume out there, and when you have volume and need control, the Supersonic's going to be one of the first choices for that. So, yeah, it's just a little too crazy. You don't drink body armor anymore. What's up with that? We actually have some body armor outside, so I still drink body armor a lot. I just don't drink it on the stream down here. I kind of like, I've been more into sparkling stuff, and so I got the wife got me a case of bubbly the other day, and so that's probably the next selection after I get done with the bubbler, which is different. The bubbly is just regular sparkling water. This has kind of got some sweetener. Stevia, it's got stevia in it, so it's not regular artificial sweetener, but rest assured, Cassie, I still drink body armor a lot. Strawberry banana is my favorite outside of the, let's see, the tropical coconut one that I really like. So, lockdown till April 8th here, April 19th here. I just finished up the main storyline for God of War yesterday. It took me longer than I thought it would. I'm used to the God of War games where you play like 15 hours and that's the main story, and then, you know, you can collect all the other stuff on your playthroughs, but there's not a whole lot more to do. And this one, the main storyline, took like 20 hours, and then there's all kinds of side stuff. It's almost like a slightly smaller Final Fantasy game, and so I'm gonna have to get a strategy guide or something for that to kind of finish that up. And then I started playing The Last of Us the other day, which is really super freaky given what we're going through right now with this virus or this sickness that took over, and so that's a little heavy for the time being, and I still have camos to work on in Modern Warfare. I haven't really played a whole lot of Warzone yet, and I've been working on getting the Infinity Ward always brings it when it comes to camo difficulty, and so I'm working on kind of getting the ultimate camo in multiplayer. So yeah, there'd be plenty of things to do. Plus, if the wife gets the extra set of shelves, then we can come down here and revamp this a little bit. I could get into the bowling alley and practice a little bit if I wanted to. That's probably going to be another week or so before I really feel that itch, seeing as how everything, you know, my life is basically bowling, so getting away from it for a couple weeks is kind of nice. Yeah, Torrent was greatly underrated. Opinions on knocking the shine off on bowling balls. Most people do that. And like James said, worth an experiment. The good thing about Surface is if you change the surface, you can always change it back. And especially if you sand it down, stuff's always going to shine back up. So even if you don't want to change the surface back to polish, like I don't like actually applying polish to the bowling balls because it kind of closes down the pores and everything. I prefer to let it just lane shine. So sometimes the hard shine of polish can be a little bit too much, and so if I don't like a certain surface on it, I'll just throw it in another couple games and let it lane shine. So I have all my balls on a 15-foot rack I made out of 4 closet dowels. Would they crack just sitting there? Maybe, maybe not. It depends. It's a little bit different for everybody. Down in our basement, I can leave everything kind of just sitting everywhere, and stuff doesn't normally happen, but the best thing for you to do is put it back in the plastic and back in the box. That'll prevent it from drying out. So, yep. Let's see. Trying to catch up with comments here. I already answered that. Am I going the wrong? I'm going the wrong direction, I'm pretty sure. There we go. Tawny is a G. Yep, Tawny is awesome. So, yeah, he has so many gems it makes me sick. Yeah. Tawny's put a lot of work in. For those, I'm not going to spill all Tawny's secrets out on here, but Tawny went through some stuff way back when, and he got things kind of turned around and in order, and now he's living the good life, but he's worked really hard to get there. So if anybody says, oh, Tawny's lucky or Tawny's this, and he worked really hard for it. So Tawny is the G. Tawny is actually the G. So, man. Astro smells like cotton candy, kind of. Shimwrecker with the Patreon plug. Yeah, I've got and I was thinking about doing a video for Patreon. I don't really like Patreon as a platform, and I haven't put anything on there in a week or two. I just always seem to forget about it because everything goes on Discord. Discord, we got a private chat server and everything, and Patreon is basically like a Facebook feed where I put some extra stuff that if I get done with writing some scripts and the video's like 2 weeks away, I'll put the script on Patreon. Or if I find an interesting video, I'll share it on Patreon. Or if I have some early information, or I'm waiting to post some videos until I can start talking about the videos. As soon as I've drilled the ball and I've thrown it, I can start talking about it privately, but I can't. They don't want me promoting something too far ahead of when it comes out, because we already have stuff that's available to sell, and they have a kind of a timeline that they like for it. But if I have some early thoughts about a bowling ball, I'll put that on Patreon, and there's 60 people or so that subscribe to it, and we have a nice little community on Discord. It's $5 a month if you're interested. But we have kind of a little community. James is on there, and Mr. Bill, and my wife, and a lot of other great people that, is how a bowling forum really should work, instead of somewhere that's more toxic, or somewhere where people can just sign up for free and be as obnoxious and whatever else they want to be. So, and it's a month-to-month thing, so if you sign up and it's not really your thing, then you can cancel, or if you join the Discord, you'll kind of get sucked into that. And that's Patreon's more of a gateway to Discord. You pay to get onto Patreon so that you can access our private channel on Discord. So, yep. Would you suggest a short pin IQ tour for a urethane fan? Probably. I would think that would work. When do you think the physics might get discontinued? It's the next in the line to go somewhere, but it's still selling really well. The last time I point blank asked Chad a couple months ago, and he said it's still selling fine, so there's no reason to get rid of it. But at the same time, stuff comes in and out of the Premier line really fast, and so I would imagine that with the next Premier line release should be something hybrid, because we haven't had something hybrid since the physics. And so I imagine the next release is going to be a hybrid, and I might be worried about that one a little bit. What layouts are better for bowlers like me? My ball speed's around 14 miles an hour, but I have decent revs, rev dominant. Asymmetrical or symmetrical? Definitely going to be symmetrical. I don't get too much into layouts because it's all going to be different from person to person, house to house, and so you'll have to check with your pro shop on that. But symmetrical balls, if you have slower speed and rev dominant, you don't need any help from the asymmetrical stuff. Does Luke still use his Hustle Ink? How much? I don't use one on the right side because I don't get down past even a high road. I think the weakest ball that I throw anymore is a Wild Streak, and so I just don't get down past it, and so I think I let my 2 Hustle Inks I had go. Now the one on the left, the one that I drilled, or I haven't drilled one lefty. I drilled another one righty, but I just don't take it anywhere. It's going to go to Tulsa this year though, because Tulsa is just dry as, I was throwing my pin down idle pearl from 4th or 5th arrow, just chucking it as hard as I could down there. My high road tee got a lot of use down there, so I will be probably taking my Hustle Ink and my just a bunch of stuff that's weaker down to the Greater Tulsa Open this year. Hi from all of us in lockdown in Chicago. Yeah. Yep. Please no spamming. Please no spamming. But sometimes stuff Sometimes computers are what computers are, so. Wonder if Chris is in Chicago. I can see an IQ Tour with spec cover releasing soon. I don't know. IQ Tours are already kind of smooth to begin with, and spec is smooth on top of smooth, and as smooth as the ProMotion already is with an 050 differential or whatever it's got. Yeah. Yowza. Really want a rocket-like look again? Yeah, that's basically what we're wanting in the hotline, because that's what the punch outs and the wipeout, lights out stuff like that is kind of the rocket stuff. And yeah, the MVP is kind of rocket-ish. You've got to drill it quite a bit smoother to get a real rocket type look out of it. But you think the idle and idle pearl will get stronger versions in the future? The Axiom is kind of a stronger idle. The idle pearl, maybe. I think that I want to see an idle hybrid, definitely. So, can't believe they discontinued the High Road Nano in less than a year. Drilled one a couple months ago, and it's the best I've ever thrown. They do that sometimes with balls that just aren't popular. It doesn't really have anything to do with how well they perform. If they're not selling well, then they need to get it out of the way and get something else in there that people are going to buy. So, I mean, there's just no reason to continue to produce something that people aren't buying. So, ProMotion, I think, is a ball that is so overlooked because I love mine. Yeah, the ProMotion, I think, gets overlooked, but again, I can understand spec not getting along with some people. It's a different kind of cover, so I can see that one getting overlooked just because it's not going to be a fit for everybody. I think it's amazing, but I think that the Wild Streak, on the other hand, is something that's going to be amazing for a lot of people. Yeah, ProMotion is the gauge house shot killer. Yeah, that's also true. Yeah, we go all year, and we might get one day a month where there's nothing on the books. So while most are bored, we're relaxing. A couple more weeks, and we, I was telling somebody the other day that I could retire now and be on my deathbed 50 years from now and still grumbling about the stuff I didn't get done. I mean, I could never get bored ever. I could have all the free time in the world and not have anything on the books anytime ever, and I will never get bored. I'm just one of those people. I could never understand my daughter, who, and she'd have all kinds of free time and she'd just sleep most of it because she's just so bored she didn't have anything to do. And I'm like, girl, I don't even know. And I'm gonna end up with about 5 weeks off here of everything, and I'm probably the last couple days before, we go back to work and kind of start getting back in the in the thick of things, probably going to start getting a little, agitated and worked up, because I'm sure that there's going to be something I wanted to do that I didn't get done. Probably be a lot more stress-free and ready to get back to doing something more than sitting around. But I really enjoy sitting around. So. And that's something that I kind of got used to anyway. I'm going to catch up with the questions. I did have some things I wanted to talk about, but I'll catch up with the questions. Do you cycle your equipment week to week to say that you throw everything, or do you have specific balls in your league bag every week? There's two ways to look at this. There's a lot of staffers that will just take something out and throw it because it's the newest ball to throw. But I've figured out, if you take something out and you're just throwing it because it's new and you suck with it, that's not doing any favors to the ball. It's a whole lot better to score with what you score best with. And, if you're going to take the ball out and suck with it, you're not really showing it off. So you're making it look bad. So I will usually take stuff out at least once or twice, just to see how it looks, even if I'm not... Now, something like the nuclear cell is never going to be an option for me in League at all, anytime, ever, and so that one's just not going to happen. Now, something like the Omega, it's like, well, it's a little bit too much ball once I get it settled down a little bit, or if it's a little bit wet one night, then yeah, it'd probably work, probably on the high end of something that I'd be throwing, but it works really well out at Westridge. It's too much ball for my other house that I bowl out on Thursdays. But it looks really good at Westridge. So, yup. So, no, I don't necessarily cycle equipment through week to week. When something new comes out, like I said, I'll give it a shot. But most of the time, I have what I know works really well, and sometimes new stuff squeaks in here and there. But yeah, I thought the GB3 act, and we're back to talking about the original GB3 again. I always thought that the GB3 acted like from what I saw, it acted like the original Crux, which is not too far off of a solid, actually. So, I was getting ready for work, listening in the shower too. It's everyone's opinion on the Code Red. I love mine since it's taking me to Pepsi State Final, shooting 680 alongside my Dream On. The Code Red was really good. I threw it in. I had this fantastic summer league that I averaged 240, 250 something in that was just ridiculous the entire summer. If I didn't shoot 1,000, it was like 950 or 960. Like I could walk in there and average 240, 250 easy in that summer league, and the Code Red was part of that year. Gravity Evolves went on close out at our local pro shop right before the quarantine. I think that's one that people got all excited about because it's a virtual gravity kind of again, and there's some people that shoot pretty good with it, but again, the spec cover is kind of, you don't really know for certain people whether you're going to like it or not, and it looks like a virtual gravity, but the nostalgia I don't think is carrying it quite as well as. And I think that's the thing about nostalgia is that people get upset about something, they want something back, and then as soon as it's back, it's like, oh, I mean, yeah, we kind of already had this, and so they're done with it. So, yeah, the thing with I shot 300 with the Evolve and out of box that never had luck again. It always burns up by the 8th frame and starts leaving 10s. It's not that the ball burns up. Spec gets a little bit of oil on it, and it's more like a urethane ball where the oil doesn't get absorbed nearly as quickly into the cover. So it doesn't burn up. It just starts getting a little slick. And so that's the thing, and that's what I actually like best about that cover is that as the lanes get drier, it reduces in strength just a little bit kind of gradually throughout the night. And so it's something that I can stick with longer, and there's something about spec that you just have to learn to work with. It's not the typical reactive resin, throw it, and as soon as the track burns, you just automatically move left. You could be able to stay on top of the track. You could be able to even move right a little bit. It's just so different from typical reactives that some people just don't get along with it. So I'm mad at Storm for putting spec on the Gravity Core. I'd rather have seen spec on the Omega Crux and a new cover stock on the Evolve. Spec was already on the Crux Prime. I imagine you're probably talking about Spec Pearl or something. I imagine that will happen sometime, but probably will happen overseas. Because especially with how spec is, it's already smooth, and when people think Pearl, they don't normally think early and smooth. So, shot my highest set with the Astro, yeah, Code Black 2000 grit. Banana coconut, hell yes, banana and coconut, and that's one of those things where I can understand people maybe not liking banana or coconut, even though I really like them because they've got kind of those odd flavors to them. So I can understand somebody not liking coconut. You need to do some tequila and prune juice. That doesn't even sound like that'd go well together. My wife bought me this chocolate creme brulee tequila once, and it was wretched. I think by the time I got done with the bottle, I actually kind of appreciated it, but I had to drink it, straight. I couldn't mix it with anything because it just doesn't mix with anything. And chocolate and creme brulee, you just don't put together with salt and lime. It's just some things that just don't go together well. Sparkling stuff like mimosas? Yes, I definitely like mimosas. Angel, yes, an Angel does like her Gravity Evolve. It looks really good for her. Luke isn't a huge fan of tequila. I do like tequila, just not chocolate creme brulee tequila. I really like margaritas. Do you think the USBC Open will get delayed again until after May 23rd? I hope not. I don't know at what point, because once they start rescheduling stuff, bowling season typically starts in the middle of August for people, and so if they push the tournament back too far, we're going to start getting into leagues, and I don't think that people would mind missing a league week to go to the national tournament, since they already start it in March anyway, when people are still bowling leagues. So if they push it back a little bit further, I don't think it's too much of a concern most of the time, because people don't really start getting into leagues until like October or something, when it starts getting colder outside. So I don't think that The Last of Us is so amazing. The Last of Us soundtrack is so good. Yeah, I keep hearing that it's a really good game, and I bought the remastered for the PS4 Pro, or the PS4, and I do have a Pro, so I've got the HDR whatever stuff. So, yeah, the Last of Us I keep hearing is really good. So I'm gonna get on that, but I have lots of things to do. So, my wife's gonna shoot me. Let's see. No, somebody talking. Oh, no, the C System 2.5 was awesome. I don't know what you're talking about. I never had one, but I always wanted one. Oh, man, I proved that pin down symmetrics work just fine. Yeah, let's go watch my Lane Wars video that everybody got mad at because bowling's supposed to be all serious and everything. Freaking hilarity. All right. Last of Us soundtrack is so good. The funny thing is, while I was playing through God of War, yeah, Kratos is a tree hugger. Yeah, you'll get this too. I kept playing through the new God of War, and it has a completely different soundtrack than the original one does. But when you complete a puzzle and you get up into, when you start going up a level and you start seeing that everything just kind of open up into this massive world, or like seeing the world serpent for the first time, or one of the big frost giants or something, I'd always hum that original tune to myself that you'd hear whenever you unlock something or got into some grand arena or something in the old games. So I'd start humming the old soundtrack to myself. What happens if you try to make a clear bowling ball hook? They actually do hook quite a bit. I got one of the, we had a plastic ball only tournament here in town about a month and a half ago. No, it's been about a month ago. And I bowled left-handed with my new clear blue Team Storm, and it looked really good. How similar is the record of the MVP? I'm constantly hearing it's super similar. I think that the MVP Pearl is closer to the record than the MVP is. So yeah, I think the record is really close to the MVP Pearl. Why don't you turn your lefty videos into righty ones? It'll be easier for some guys like me. We've talked about this kind of ad nauseum. Maybe not on here, but reaction on the left side of the lane is different from reaction on the right side of the lane, and so much so that sometimes you can get a false idea on how a ball really reacts. And so there's a lot of people that don't want to see the flipped footage because it's not telling you anything. It's not giving you any real information. Some people just can't. They're so used to seeing the right-handed perspective from stuff that just seeing a lefty video period doesn't give them any information. I suppose that's probably the best argument for actually doing it, because if you're seeing a left-handed video, you're not getting any real information anyway if you're right-handed, and vice versa. And so I might as well just go ahead and flip it around so people can at least get the idea better. But there's some people who feel kind of they feel like their intelligence is insulted a little bit when somebody makes one video and just flips it for a different view. And so I don't know, I think people are going to be mad at me for no matter what I do in this certain situation. All I can say is I'm bowling a whole lot better in tournaments and leagues now that I'm not filming and putting so much work on my. Oh, Bork. I haven't even caught up with questions yet, James. Nerf time, and the gun's sitting right there. We never got batteries for the big. We never got batteries for the big one, but that would be something that would actually be kind of funny to put batteries in that big giant automatic Nerf gun. Just here she comes. Yep. Patreon, Patron, same thing. Yeah, I'd rather have Patron myself. Mo Pinnell does not like pin down layouts on symmetrical balls. Anyone agree or disagree with that philosophy? Mo has been misquoted. Mo is an interesting guy. He's a very smart guy. But he's talking more or less to the average league bowler, and for myself personally, I also wouldn't recommend pin down layouts to the vast majority of regular league bowlers. They're very helpful for higher rev rates, slower ball speeds, control for tougher shots at tournaments and stuff like that. But he was talking about the regular average league bowler, and I wouldn't give them a whole lot of pin down layouts either. But yeah. So yes, pin down symmetrics work just fine.
You got a donation, does it not pop up?
Huh? No, I told you. I said, "Oh, James, here we go with the Nerf time woo," and so that's what I waited and said, "Oh, here she comes."
Okay.
And she's just yeah. See, this is going to be the thing. She's going to shoot me in the eye. She's really going to put my eye out, and it's going to be like a Christmas Story thing all over again. Like the one time my daughter threw an ice cube at me and got me right here. And she said she was going to throw it, and I didn't listen to her, and so I just kept staring at her. And then she threw it, and it hit me right there, and it was hard enough that it made me bleed. It cut me open, and if it would just been one side or the other, I'd be like Nick Fury on here doing these live streams. And I have a feeling that she's gonna put an eye out, and this is gonna be a Christmas Story come to life here. Man. Shout out to all the medical professionals out there. We greatly appreciate all you do. Yes, definitely. My mother is an RN, and she just retired before this whole thing started. She retired like a couple weeks into February. That was right before
it was the last business day of February.
Oh, okay. Yeah, the last business day of February. So right before this thing really got rolling. So yeah, there's your Nerf gun there.
We're not going to be able to wait until the new shells come.
Yeah. I think I'm about ready for my.
I kind of figured that was coming too. Did you bring your bell down?
Man, C-System 2.5. I don't know what you're talking about there. That thing looked great. I think I went to Brunswick after I quit Storm when they came out with Reactor. Oh man, there's another one here. She'll come back down. She's bringing me more. Shoot him again. Do it. Thank you, Kratos. By the way, much appreciated. She's coming back. She'll shoot me again.
I get to shoot you again?
Yeah. You got $10 more to shoot me again. So, all right. This is with my fish. Once again, this is the best Russian roulette.
Yeah.
Yeah. See. Yeah. Yeah. Just right eye level is where she keeps shooting me. I guess if she puts my eyes out, I guess I won't be playing video games anymore. All right, have to give these back.
I can just cancel Cox.
Yeah. That'd be rough all the way around. I wouldn't be able to watch any. This is like the best white elephant gift I ever got. This was from my cousin who thought that this was just obnoxious and terrible, and
You need to
I
remember
got
that
this
when we
like
go
7 or
up
8 years ago. Yeah, next time we go up there.
Yes. Every time we go down on campus, you have to take that with you.
Yep, this is like the best thing ever, and I got this like 8 years ago. And let's see, raspberry bubbly sparkling water. It's been 6. It's been 5 or 6 anyway.
Well, we didn't do the gift exchange for the first few.
Yeah. Interesting. All right. Thanks. I got shot again. If you want to, if you want to see me get shot with a Nerf gun, we might make this really interesting at some point too. We need some more D batteries so that we can get our fully automatic Nerf assault rifle back up and working.
Well, it could be torched because if the batteries are left in there, you could have rotted it out.
I don't know. Maybe not.
You need to take it apart and look.
Okay. Anyhow, I went to Brunswick for a while, and I had most of the new zones that came out. When they started with the time zone, I don't think that I'm not sure I skipped any of those. Because Storm came out with Reactor on the Fired Up and the Diablo, and I hated both of those with an extreme passion. And Brunswick came out with the Time Zone. I had the Time Zone and the Red Zone and the Ultra Zone and the Blast Zone, the Vapor Zone. I'm trying to think. There was one that I think that I didn't have, and I can't remember. The Warp Zone, maybe? I think I might have even had one of those. But, oh my gosh. Is there a ball that Angel is interested in that is not Storm Roto? P.S. Hit him again. Thanks, Will. Come back down. You got to shoot me again. I've got to collect these Nerf darts now. Is there a ball that Angel's interested in that's not Storm Roto? I'll have to ask her about that. That might be interesting. I don't think so, but maybe. Also, while we're on lockdown here, I'm trying this thing called not shaving. I'm not growing a beard so much as I'm just not shaving. Those things aren't... Those two things don't have to be both true at the same time. And more in my case, I look like I've been hit with a cactus than you know, growing a beard. So we'll see what happens, though. All right, Will, she's coming back down. You people. All of you people wanting me to get, I mean, for $10, yeah.
You'll do anything for $10, right?
Yeah. Yeah, I don't have a...
Oh,
Smack the wall pretty... I don't have a set price or anything, but I have been getting $10.
overpaid.
Yeah. Deuce Bigelow, that's another one that I'm going to have to find.
You know, there are other things to do. Like, there's leaves to clean up.
Oh, man.
You know, like adult things instead of like the 12-year-old things that you keep listing off.
Yeah, yeah. Man, I don't know what it is, though, with all these people on here wanting me to get shot with Nerf guns. I mean...
Probably the clenching, like the butt clenching face that you make right before I shoot you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because I know that you're going to shoot me in the eye.
What was the question? Wasn't there a question with that one?
Yeah, he asked, was there a ball that you're interested in that's not Storm or Roto?
I don't know any balls.
Yeah, we just don't... We just don't keep up with them, so...
I guess there's probably been a couple that I've seen that get posted online, like the 900 Global like ones. So I mean, it's
Yeah.
still kind of under the same umbrella though. So.
Yeah, there's some of the honey badgers that that look
is
nice.
true. The teal honey badger.
Yeah,
Oh, that looks
the teal honey badger.
That would be one.
Mm-hmm.
Just because it's green though, so I mean, that's really.
Yeah. IQ core with spec would be Brunswick in 2005. Bad. Can anybody say wild card? Yowza. Yeah, spec with a differential of 0.29. That would be rough, I think. And let's see. Trying to catch up with questions here. Just bought a Crux Prime, never thrown a spec cover ball. I like spec, so I don't know. Think they'll bring back the Rad X core and a new hybrid cover? Probably not. I'm not sure that we'll get any more locks stateside. We'll have to see. Heard a lot of great things about the Outcry. Yeah, the Outcry was, I think that was the year when I had just signed with Storm but couldn't throw Roto, and the Outcry and the Hysteria and the whatever else, the Haywire came out. Yeah. Any tips on convincing my team for Nationals that me throwing urethane isn't a bad idea? We're in a regular division. They don't like the idea of me being the only person throwing urethane on the pair. Show them my video, basically. Just show them my video, because what's going to happen is exactly what I say that happens most of the time, because people, there's so much hook, and everybody wants to throw resin anyway, and they think, okay, well, we'll just move left to get the ball to hold. Well, it's not going to happen. Throw urethane, stay on top of the shot, on top of the track, as far right as possible, as long as possible. If you're throwing, I don't think you need to be throwing on a doubles and singles pattern, but the team shot, it's just an absolute must to help you build some hold. I mean, otherwise, you're not going to do very well. And at least you can tell them, you can show them the video, or you can just tell them, okay, I'm going to throw reactive, but it's not going to go well. And then as soon as it doesn't go well, then you can rub it in. So for new releases, we have to pay attention to the new USB-C recommendations regarding oil absorption. I really don't think so, because nobody's going to release anything that's going to exceed the oil absorption requirements, and nothing before had done it either. So I don't think that that's nothing we have to... when you shoot a video left-handed, do you switch your push-off and slide pads on your nines? I noticed that you plant your slide foot. Yes, I plant left-handed because I've always had just regular right-handed shoes. And so I got used to bowling lefty planting, and it actually works out fairly well. And I've tried to slide before when I made a full switch to lefty 5 or 6 years ago and was going to stick with it. I tried sliding, and it doesn't work. It doesn't come close to working out. So, yeah. Let's see. The Badger line from Global can make a whole arsenal. The Badger line from Global is kind of like the Venom line or the Venom shocks from Motive. I mean, yeah. What is the Luke Dream Ball right now? That's tough. Oh crap, I caught up with the questions? Holy bork. Oh, no, I didn't catch up with the questions. This thing skipped again. Oh, somebody wants the dogs. We'll have to get the dogs down here. There we go. All right. Yep. You people want me to get shot with Nerf guns. Dad blast it. Ocarina of Time has been my best friend the past 2 weeks. I've been having some stuff that I haven't caught up on, and I need to save some time anyway for Final Fantasy VII Remake, which is coming out on the 10th of April. And I won't mind taking some time to get to that, but I do need to finish... Well, there's a puppy. Aspen, Chubby. Come here. Aspen. Come here, sweetie. Aspen's the timid... Aspen. Aspen. Come here. Yeah, she's the timid one, and if she's not super familiar with what's going on, or if there's not another dog that's around here, she doesn't tend to get very close. Unless she's in, like, her comfort zone, and downstairs isn't really her comfort zone. So, might upgrade to paintballs. Sweet. But yeah, Final Fantasy VII Remake is coming out, and that's definitely going to happen. I'll still have some quarantine time. Yeah, by the time the quarantine's over, the PS5 will be releasing. So, nope. She got me a PS4 Pro for Thanksgiving. Really, she wanted to do it for Christmas, but I didn't want to wait that long. So, because I'm a princess. And just like the PS4, PS5 is not going to be popular enough for like the next 3 or 4 years to have a whole bunch of people really playing it. So I didn't even watch the PS5 reveal because I'm not terribly interested in it yet. It's going to be several years, I think, before I'm going to care too much about it. Yeah, the reveal was geared for those who were looking for the advancement of numbers and speed and capacity, not for how good things looked on the screen. At God of War on the PS4 Pro, at God of War, the Santa Monica Studios has always been ahead of the game with how things looked on the screen, like the graphical quality. They've always been like a generation ahead, a console generation ahead of everybody else. And I can't imagine a game looking better than God of War. So, heck. Yeah, had to say hit him in the face or the chest or it doesn't count. Oh, man. Shoot him again. Red Ryder BB gun, yep. No. Divorce in 3, 2, 1. No. Definitely not. I gots to have it. People like you get, yeah. People like you see you get shot kind of messed up. No, I mean, it's with a Nerf gun, so it's all in good fun. Plus, it's $10. I don't have a set price or anything, but I have been getting $10. Yep. Have to train her to shoot center mass. Yeah. Yeah, this Q&A is going to turn into an episode of Jackass as the dollars come in. Yeah. Yep. Yep, you can raise dollars for more balls one shot at a time. Yeah. YouTube's going to shut this down for violence. Yeah. Best bowling movies on TV or episodes. Kingpin and The Big Lebowski are the best bowling movies by a long shot. So, yep. All right, I'm getting caught up. Oh, crap. Let's see. Just don't die from a Nerf bullet to the head. As long as she doesn't shoot me in the eye, Cassie, I think I'll be all right. What is Luke's dream ball right now? The UFO Pearl has really got me. I mean, the one that I'm actually throwing right now would be tough. Because, and I think the ultimate unicorn that I wanted, the one that I really, really wanted was the Phase Tour. And so I've got that one. But the UFO Pearl is the next one I'm looking at because it's got Microtrax Pearl on it, and I love that stuff, and it's looking like a burn replacement. So the Wild Streak's been my best friend at League the last month or so, but Halo Burn Phase 3, the UFO Pearl, I'm gonna have to check that one out. So, who's your favorite bowler? I think I have to say Verity Crawley right now. I just like her attitude in general. She doesn't. She just is really, really into bowling, and she kind of lets that show. She's kind of like she's not quite as hyper excitable as Norm Duke is, but Norm Duke is just, he's so into bowling and he's so happy with it, and it excites him so much that he just kind of shares that with everybody. He just wants to get out there and bowl. He doesn't have to be a personality. He doesn't have to be a hard ass for the sport of bowling, or he doesn't have to be on this agenda or that. He just doesn't pay attention to that stuff. He just likes bowling, and so he goes out and bowls. And Verity Crawley is kind of the same thing on the women's side. She doesn't mess with all that stuff. She just wants to get out there and bowl, and she's always positive. She always shows a bunch of drills off. She's just really into it. So I kind of like that stuff rather than somebody that has an agenda or somebody that's trying to, kind of create their own kind of world or carve out their own section of things. Like Norm Duke he's just always bold. He's never worried about trying to be a brand or have a website or marketing or merchandising this or that or whatever. I mean, he just kind of lets stuff happen, and he just goes out and bowls. So, next signature ball should be Luke inspired. There have been a couple that I might have had something to do with the Phase 3. I doubt it, but I might have had something to do with the Phase 3 because I kept telling Chad after the Intense Fire came out, and I really liked it, but I could understand that core seemed kind of layout sensitive, and so I think it was really great for some people and not too great for other people. And I kept telling him about R3S Hybrid. I'm like, dude, that has to be on something. I mean, you got to put it on something. And I think I recommended a phase at one point. And I did say something about it right before the Phase 3 came out, but I kept on him for a while about R3S Hybrid. I'm like, dude, that cover's legit. And I understand that the fire is kind of either or for some people, but I'm like, dude, I kept on that one. So might have had something to do with that. And of course, the Phase 3 is epic. So, what's the best ball, core, and cover combo? That's, I don't know. I really like the Halo Burn. I like the idea of having a nano pearl cover because you're going to get, a more controllable motion out of it to begin with. Most people, when they want pearls, they want something that's going to go down and be a check mark. They want a hockey stick. They want something that's going to go down and turn left. And when you think pearl, you don't really think earlier and smoother. But the shine will help the ball get down the lane and help give you a little bit of pop. But the nano in the cover is still going to control the mid lane a little bit better and blend out the back end better than a typical pearl. So it's more controllable. It's more consistent. It's just... the Halo Burn is, and again with the Centrum core not being as continuous as some other asymmetrics, that's why I keep the UFO Pearl is something I'm really interested in because it's nano and that core is like the atomic core or the velocity core, the atomic core from the physics line or the velocity core from the phase line, but asymmetric obviously. That ET core is really windy and really just aggressively continuous, and so that with a nano pearl cover on it is just, I need one. Is your phase collection just some sort of phase you're going through at the moment? Also, what ball collection is Angel going to work on? I don't know about a ball collection for Angel. She likes the idols, or she really likes her green idol. And the phase collection is not... I've wanted to have kind of a ball collection of some sorts for a while, but I'd never... Everything would come and go, and I wouldn't be able to even keep up with a few things. We just didn't have the money to get anything, period. Because, we were spending so much on... all the money so far has gone into equipment for the channel and the live streams and whatever else, and so there was just no extra money anywhere to, especially just to, like I was saying, spend on, bowling balls to just sit in a box on a shelf. And so it was always one of those things where it was a wish list type item. But I have, ever since the original phase came out, and I've been looking at several of these, and then when the Phase G was the second or third one of the first overseas balls. One of the first overseas phases to come out, and I really wanted that one. I kept seeing them come out, and I'm like, I just really like the entire phase line, and so it's something I wanted to do for a while. It just haven't really had the opportunity or the money to, so. Do you have a Switch? Yes, we have a Switch, but I really don't play it much. That's kind of Angel's thing. She likes Mario Kart, and so she's got the Mario Kart mobile for the phone or whatever, and then she plays Mario Kart on the Switch, but I don't even have time to play this stuff on my PlayStation that I haven't gotten to for a couple of years and wanted to catch up with. So, yes, we do have a Switch, though, and I know that I'd like the new Legend of Zelda game, or I guess it's not new anymore. It was new when the Switch came out. Balls are meant to be thrown and sniffed. Yeah. Do you suppose the MVP Pearl would be similar to the Uproad or the Uproar? Yes, kind of. Yeah, use a taser on him one time. Yeah, we could do all kinds of things. I mean, if you guys are willing to, I'm one of those people that not one of the like crazy ones that would do anything for money, but there's some kind of interesting different things that people would not assume that. I do some interesting things, but not really crazy, just interesting. Taser sounds great. Taser face. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. Oh yeah, and the Halo has pink. Yeah, the other part is the Halo burn is really pretty. It's pink and silver. Yeah, I literally just watched The Big Lebowski last night. 8-year-olds, dude. Pull the trigger till it goes click. Angel, do you still throw your code X? Yeah, she's... how much different would a nuclear cell drilled pin down be as compared to a phase 3 pin up? They'd probably be pretty close, actually. Yeah, speaking of Norm, where's our live stream question? Yeah. It almost looks like Verity Crawley's shoulder becomes dislocated at the top of her swing. I wish my swing was that relaxed. Yeah, she's got the most relaxed swing. She doesn't force anything anywhere ever. She just kind of lets it go, and her timing is so good that everything. If you watch her, she's got drills upon drills, or if you follow her on social media, she's always doing drills. She's always working out. She's always doing the basics, like the super crazy boring stuff that nobody ever wants to go bowl. When people think about going to practice, they just go practice, and they just repeatedly throw strike shot after strike shot, and they're not really working on anything. They're just trying to reinforce muscle memory or habits or whatever else, but they don't do the base like groundwork stuff, and that's the majority of what she does. I mean, she's always doing drills and this, that, and the other to improve her mechanics. And yeah, my shoulder probably would get dislocated again if I did that. So high road spec, everybody keeps talking about high road with spec, and I think that might actually work out. But isn't the Omega Crux a nano pearl? Kind of. It has nano in it, but when you have micro tracks from Rotogrip is basically NRG, and when you have something that's NRG hybrid or NRG pearl, I mean it's nano. That's what it is. It doesn't have some nano additives in it like the GI covers have. And there are some certain covers like R2X, anything like R2X or 3X, an X designator means it has a little bit of nano in it. And so the Omega Crux does have some nano in it, but it doesn't really feel like the type of nano pearl that I'm talking about with the higher nano loads of the microtracks or just NRG period. So the Omega Crux does have kind of that similar feel to it. I think it could actually work out if I polish it up, or it's gotten some lane shine on it, but it's not quite Halo burn-ish yet. But that's not actually a bad idea. But I really want something pink and silver. I can't remember what the UFO Pearl looks like. Let me see if I can look that up really quick. If you go to Bull.com, I don't want Bull TV, I want Bull.com. Actually, if you go to approved ball list, and this is something that a lot of people don't know about, but if you go to if you just search for the approved ball list, it's been updated as of a couple days ago, and you can go see when stuff gets approved. And once it's approved, it's going to go on here. It's going to go on this website. And so you can actually see the stuff before it comes out. So if anybody's interested in what's going on, if there's any new stuff, like for... Nope, I didn't want that. Nope, didn't want to... Okay, there we go. Rotogrip. Most of these are going to be overseas, because the overseas stuff comes out really quick. I mean, just right one on top of the other. All right. Huh. The UFO Pearl's not on here yet. I thought that this is where somebody got it from. So, no UFO pearl yet. So, don't tell anybody I said anything about that. It's overseas anyway, so don't worry about it. But the GI cover has been nano. Yeah, it has some nano in it, and the Phase 2 also has some nano in it. The Sherlock had some nano in it. Any of the GI covers, any of the AX covers have some nano in it. Best bowling state in the U.S. That one's tough. I know that some of wherever they have the UBA, Underground Bowling Association, that's pretty good. I think that, Kansas is pretty close actually, because we've got Wichita State down in Wichita, and we've got a lot of the bowlers that after they graduate, they stay in Wichita because they like it. Wesley Lowe lives in Wichita. Francois Lavoie lives in Wichita. AJ Chapman. Prather isn't there anymore. I think he's in Chicago, but he would like to be in Wichita. Packy Hanrahan's down there. Brad Miller lives in Lee's Summit, which is east of Kansas City, which is technically in Missouri. But we have a lot of great bowlers in the Kansas City area too. So as far as the rest of Kansas, though, we have a hotbed all right here at the same spot. Texas would probably be a strong contender there. Isn't there talk about a Spec 2.0 that's cleaner and more responsive? I don't necessarily know about that. They're probably working on something like that. Spec was probably the first evolution of that, like with the Axiom having that NEX cover, the Nano Extreme. That's kind of the evolution of Nano. And so, yeah, I'm sure that they're working on something for Spec so that they can have Pearl and hybrid versions of it instead of just solid on everything. So, could you rate the High Road Nano original and the Pearl on a hook rating? High Road Nanos, you're probably pretty close with I would say the High Road Nano is probably a 7. High Road... Yeah, the High Road Nano is probably a 7.5. The High Road original is probably 6.5, and the Pearl's like a 6. So, Chad's mentioned they've been playing around with the formula to get his Pearl spec feel, but they haven't had much success, so it's not a primary focus. Last we heard anyway. So yeah, I think that they're working on plenty of other things. So, in Darren Tang's Discord, I've heard from somebody that's in good relations with his PSO where there's test balls with Spec 2.0, including the piston core and such, since he has one. They put out test balls all the time, so they're going to have a bunch of stuff with a bunch of different things. And why couldn't they bring back another Marvel? They've got it. They continue to make them overseas, and I think that's where a lot of those cores go that they don't continue to use stateside, or if they don't want to keep a series going like the Black Widow thing over here. They put a bunch of stuff out overseas, and so they're still making Marvels overseas. At one point I wanted to have a Marvel collection too, but there's way too many of those to even. I could spend $10,000 on Marvels and not have all of them probably. So. I love bowling UBA because it gets me out of my comfort zone. That is something to where I would love bowling UBA events, because I'm normally kind of quiet and reserved anyway, but not necessarily because I want to be quiet and reserved. I can talk trash. I can talk a lot of trash, and it's just League doesn't feel like it really gets you up enough. Like, I like bowling, and even tournaments to some point, it's just kind of like, you go take your turn and you do this, and then whatever. But there's nothing that I really bowl where there's trash talk, or there's pressure, there's side action, or anything like that. And I kind of thrive on that. So I think that's probably why most of the time when I'm shooting 300, I finish them off so much. Is because people, is he going to choke, or is he going to do this or whatever? It's like, no, I'm going to get up and just strike, and I'll go back and think about it later. So there are very few times Oh, what's that blue Marvel that's overseas? Marvel Max SE. So, pretty sure. But yeah, I'd love getting out there and doing some trash talk and having something real on the line. Even though you're bowling on house shots, and it's more about it's not about the toughness of the pattern. That's like the last thing that's out there. It's about the mind games, and it's about the pressure, and it's about the pride, and it's about the everything else but the actual lane conditions. So yeah, I think that yeah, oh my gosh, I am caught up. Yeah, believe that or not. What's stronger, the wild streak or the idle? The idle by a mile and a half. Yeah, we need like a Midwest UBA chapter. No, not the SE. There's a different one. Okay. The future is Sky Royal and Black. Yeah, I don't know. All right, so I've also got to check into something. There's Mr. Bill Walker had some interesting pickup lines, social distancing pickup lines. If COVID-19 doesn't take you out, can I? Is that hand sanitizer in your pocket, or are you just happy to be within 6 feet of me? Since the public libraries are closed, I'm checking you out instead. You can't spell virus without you and I. Baby, do you need toilet paper? Because I can be your Prince Charmin. I saw you from across the bar. Stay there. Without you, my life is as empty as the supermarket shelf. Yeah. Hey, babe, can I ship you a drink? This is my favorite, I think. You can't spell quarantine without URAQT. I really can't stay. Baby, it's COVID-19 outside. Had to read those. Those are pretty good. Heckin' funny. The one that I'm talking about is solid blue, single color, and shiny. Ooh, is it the dark blue? Was that the Marvel Max Elite? Because I really wanted that one. What would be the coolest colors on a bowling ball? I would like pink and like a kind of a metallic blue and silver, I think would look amazing. So, all right. Well, I'm caught up with the questions, and I had some stuff to talk about earlier, but I've completely forgotten about everything that I wanted to talk about. I do have one thing. There's all kinds of people that are talking about staying in shape and excuse me, and doing no, that's it, the Elite. Yeah, the Marvel Max Elite. I always wanted one of those too. Always a sucker for blue and red. Yeah, that's why the Phase Tour looks amazing. IQ Sapphire looks pretty good too, yeah. But while everybody's working on bowling stuff, there's a lot of stuff that you could be doing between the ears. And especially, I have never figured out why bowlers think that throwing a heavy ball at some weird looking white sticks is like so awesome. But there's a lot of people that might want to quarantine their egos at the same time too, because there's a definite pecking order in bowling, and I'm kind of just finally getting my way through that, because I've always been self-conscious about the way I throw the ball, and I've always thought, well, I can't really hang out or talk to so-and-so because they're a better bowler than I am, and the bowling pecking order gets really, really reinforced all the time, and I'm not about any of that. And I think that making sure that you put your ego in check and not thinking that you're better than anybody else because you throw a heavy ball at some weird sticks better than somebody else actually means anything beyond that. Like, I don't know why somebody ever thought that made them a better person than somebody else, but definitely want to put some egos in check. Yep, SRGBBFS on Facebook. But that's the thing, and I think that with the newer crowd of bowling, like it's getting everybody just kind of goes out there and bowls, and there's a few people here and there that I wouldn't necessarily walk up to and pick out of a crowd to just kind of strike up a conversation about something, and that's why somebody said, "Oh, well, you just need to go talk to so and so if you see them out." And I'm like, "Well, they're a pro bowler, and I make videos on YouTube. I really can't talk to them, or to have other people that even feel nervous about coming up to me and talking to me about stuff. I mean, if you see me in a bowling alley, come up and hang out and talk, and I'll probably talk longer than you had intended to have a conversation with me for." So, so yeah, it's just weird thinking about this in general. So, is the axiom stronger than the gravity of evolve? It's close. It's close. Yeah, let's go throw balls at sticks. That's the best way to look at it. So, definitely. Yep. All right, we might be getting close to the Chicagoland is notorious with bowling egos, pecking order. Try being 71 years old and just started bowling again after a 20-year layoff. Equipment so different, pecking order, me all the way down the line. Luke, I totally agree, but I also think there's one other thing at play. Do tell, because I'm interested in this kind of stuff. This is the kind of stuff that I could talk about indefinitely. I like the mental side of the game, and again, like we were talking about with the UBA stuff, with the mind games and the trash talk and all that stuff. And there's a bunch of people that, oh, this, that's bowling's not for that, and that's just making a mockery of it. It's like, no. Why don't you go try to bowl and hang with some of those people that are playing those mind games or trying to get inside your head, or, bowling should just be about bowling and adjusting and whatever else, and they should be on tough conditions and whatever. And it's like, well, I mean, that's... No, I'd venture to guess that a lot of UBA bowling is on house shots is a whole lot tougher than trying to bowl on something tough and just kind of everybody be quiet and nonchalant and whatever else. And we used to, when I was in youth, we used to go out and do cosmic bowling, and whenever somebody be on a big streak or something, like I was on the front 9 or front 10 or something in cosmic bowling one time, and people started throwing stuff at me. Like I got a puff ball thrown at me, I got a towel thrown at me. There was a league that I was in where the last, not in youth, not in youth even. It was an adult league, and it was kind of a more fun league, but it was at the end of the year, and they always had a 9-pin no tap thing at the end of the year. Well, I was in the middle of shooting 900, and we got into the 5th or 6th frame of the last game, and the manager of the bowling alley started getting on the PA. Is like, all right, Luke's on the front 30 right now. He's only only 6 away from shooting 900. Is he going to screw up, or everybody yell at him, or everybody do this or whatever? And that was so much fun because it really didn't matter if I got it or not. I mean, saying that you shot 900 no tap is not really saying anything, but it's still fun. It's still something fun, and there would be so many people that'd be so mad if they were shooting a no-tap 900 and somebody got on the mic and started messing with them about it. Oh, they just ruined my time, and that's not funny, and that's not whatever else. I thought it was great, and I did end up shooting my no-tap 900. So, yeah. I see a lot of ego from guys who score well as opposed to guys who know how to bowl well. Yeah, and that's something that kind of goes back and forth. I've always thought that you can practice carry, and there's some people that throw the ball really well that don't score that well, and then there's some people that score well that don't really throw the ball that well. I think that those two can be independent of each other. And yeah, so yeah, there's ego from a lot of guys who can knock pins down on a house shot, which is there's a definite skill to that. But But yeah, it's just interesting how people get so uppity and so prideful and so high on themselves for knocking down some pins with a heavy ball. And there's a lot that goes into bowling. There's a lot of stuff that the rabbit hole's as deep as you want to chase it, or as deep as you want to go. And there is a definite skill to it, but thinking that you're better than somebody else because you do anything better than they do, when everybody in the world is going to be better at something than somebody else is. It doesn't even matter what it is. We were watching on ESPN 8 the Ocho last Sunday. We were watching a cup stacking competition with these little like 10-year-olds, and they could destroy me at that, and they were really good. And somebody, well, it's only cup stacking. Well, everything that somebody does, there's so many layers of complexity to something and so much skill involved in it, and that even doing something like cup stacking, they've had to think about it, they've had to practice, they've had to work with different techniques, and everything always, teaches you something different. Some people may know Ray Lucier is a kind of a professional bowler. He's from Canada. I think he was on Team Canada several times. And he's also a Call of Duty professional. And before anybody thinks, oh, you play video games for a living, the amount of skill that pro video game players have to have, or if you watch somebody, especially like the speed runners that go through and try to play a game as fast as they can through it, it's like, oh, there's no skill in that. They just play through the game as fast as they can. There's no actual skill in playing it. There's more skill in speed running a video game, because you have to know, especially more intricate games. Like there's guys that do Final Fantasy speed runs that take like 9 hours to get through a game that would otherwise be 70 hours long or something, but they have to know all the boss's weaknesses. They have to know all the intricacies of all the weapons inside and out, and they even know some certain things about built into the code of the game, like Final Fantasy VII. You can't just run through the entire thing. If you take like so many steps and then stop and then take so many other steps, you can avoid some of the random battles going throughout the worlds and stuff. And just the amount of thought that even goes into, again, something like cup stacking is just absolutely amazing if you stop for a second to appreciate what goes into it rather than the thing itself. Is cup stacking important in the grand scheme of things? No. Is playing darts professionally going to make, or cornhole or something, going to make you a lot of money? No. But if you stop and actually pay attention to what somebody has had to learn, or what it's taught somebody going through something like that, I think that stuff's all wildly interesting. So insert discussion on handicap. Boy, we could talk about that for a while. That'd be great. Yeah, UBA tour stops can get pretty loud, and I would love that stuff. I mean, you may not think that me and Dougie, for those of you that don't know Doug Heron, Dougie and Dougie Vision, you might think that we could be the most different people out there, period, but I would love hanging out with Dougie. Because he just don't care, and he's gonna talk, and he's gonna try to get inside your head, and he's gonna whatever else, but I love that stuff. Coming from being one of the most mental people on the planet, yep, I can get inside my own head. But I spend so much time thinking about stuff so much and whatever else that anytime it comes to some mental stuff, I'm down. Yep, UBA is amazing. It gets you into houses you may never bowl at in that area, which is one of the ways it becomes tougher, at least what I've seen. The less seems to hook so much more at all those houses. I think getting into certain bowling centers and just learning about the different lane surfaces is something kind of interesting anyway. So travel leagues, whatever else. Yeah, Dougie's awesome. Yeah, some of those cornhole pros make a pretty damn good living, some of them anyways. Yeah, I think it's probably something like bowling, where only the top the very, like high percentage of them. But even something like cornhole, and people think that, oh, you're just throwing a beanbag through a hole on a board. It's like, no, if you actually pay attention and watch and see what they're doing, and the strategies some of them have, and whatever else. And let's face it, esports is one of the few sports we can hold right now. Yeah. But yeah, even I just like I like getting into the stuff under the surface. Like what does it take? The kind of things that um, um, you know, people saying bowling isn't a real sport because it's not athletic. Well, I don't care whether you call it a sport or a game or whatever else. There's so many things that go into bowling, and so many, so many things that even the greatest of all time are still learning something every day. So it's not necessarily about the ball knocking over the pins. And I think that anybody that puts any kind of effort into something doesn't like to see that marginalized or something like that. So they can kind of get defensive if you challenge them on it or something. And so I think that that's one of the things is that we as bowlers are just kind of used to people looking at it like, well, that's a sport for blue collar people and fat guys and whatever else because you don't need to be athletic to do it. Well, I don't care if you need to be athletic to do it or not. I'm not terribly athletic, so it's one of those things that I can do that don't have to doesn't require you to be a physical specimen or something like that. I've always been like slightly above average at any kind of sport that requires because I'm just skinny and frail, I guess. So it's kind of skinny and generally undersized, and so anything like baseball or basketball or whatever else, I just on the plus side of average just because I was able to use my head a little bit more, but something like bowling allows me to use my head a whole bunch. And anything that allows me to use my head period is great. So one of the best ways to improve your bowling game is to bowl on different surfaces, even though you can't get on more challenging conditions. Different surfaces will test you in many of the same ways. Yeah, just going around to, again, I've talked about this before, where I think that lane surface can play more into something than a lane condition. And that's why when I used to go back and forth and would have the show video at both the centers that I bowl at here in town, same lane pattern, but the reactions would be wildly different because of the lane surface and the topography in general. So yeah, big fish / these kind of people. Let me see. Scroll back up. Remind me why actors and sports figures pushing their views don't influence. I know that they're better bowlers, but they prove out loud that they're not better people. Yeah, and that's the thing is I've never ever understood that idea. I understand being good at something or like we watch a lot of we've been watching a lot of Kitchen Nightmares here recently, and we like Gordon Ramsay. I just love watching him do anything because he's so passionate about food, and he loves what he's doing, and he does kind of run people down every once in a while, but he doesn't run the people down. He runs their skills down or their commitment or whatever else, and he does that because he's trying to build them up and make them better. But he'll talk to anybody. He doesn't think that he's a better person than anybody else. He knows he's a lot better chef than a lot of people, but that's different from thinking that he's just a better person, period. There's a big disconnect there. Man, I want a pink Dougie beanie. I don't look good in hats or anything else. I've got a face for radio and a voice for silent film, but yeah. Yes, I do want a pink Dougie bean. I'm gonna have to get on that. One of the things I'm proud of, 2 of my 3 800s have come in UBA events at houses I never bowled at before on sensor. The pace is sometimes better being 3-on-3, sometimes 5-man can get too slow. Yeah, I like 3-on-3 or 4-on-4. The 5-man stuff gets a little slow for me, so when we have traditional team events at some places, it's a little bit... That's when it's tough for me to keep my head in the game because I have a lot of OCD anyway, and so I just... you know, you give me 10 free seconds and my mind's wandering off somewhere else. So, yes. AMF HPLs. I love HPLs. Love HPLs. If I can get an extra one, I'll bring a Dougie beanie when I'm out there for Casey. Yeah. I need a pink Dougie beanie. That's what I need. Yeah, Luke could pull off cornrows, a flat bill cap, and some gold grills. No, I'd look like that. On the movie Waiting, I'd look like the. Yeah, I'd look like that. I really don't think that that'd happen. Oh man, HPLs are amazing, but they are softer. They are softer. They're a whole lot softer, so there's a whole lot more friction, and so most of the time people don't understand how to bowl on higher friction stuff. But yeah, did Daniel just say Luke looks like Riff Raff? Yeah, I couldn't pull that off. Definitely could not pull that off. I don't care if Belmo walked into my house and wanted to bowl one game for money on bowling. I know my lanes, even though I know he's the best in the world. If you're going to give me frames in a house, I'm in. And that's the UBA attitude. And we going all the way back to if we're going all and James and Dougie bowling Pete Weber and Kyle Troop for their staff contracts. That's on Flow Bowling again, and we actually played the match on here. I had James here for a live stream, and we actually played that on here. So whether you want to watch our commentary or go back and watch the Flow Bowling thing where they had the UBA contract match, Dougie didn't care. He didn't care if it was Kyle Troop, Pete Weber, whoever else, and that's going all the way back to what we were talking about being a pro. You can't care who you're going to bowl or think, oh my God, you get into match play at a tournament, it's like, oh crap, I'm bowling Belmo or I'm bowling Prather or whatever else. You can't think like that. You got to think like, this might be my day. I don't know. And you can't, feel bad. I used to feel bad every once in a while when I would bowl somebody in a match that both of us knew that they were better than I was. And if I happened to win the match, I'd feel bad for some reason. That's not, you can't get better until you beat some of the better bowlers, or maybe it's just your day, or maybe you bowled better that game than they did. That's how it all works. And that once you get out in the PBA, they don't, when they have on the telecast, when they get to saying, oh, EJ Tackett beat Buttriff this week in match play, they don't care about that. They pay no attention to that, because everybody out there will beat everybody in some certain situation. You bowl enough tournaments and you get into match play enough, you get on the TV show and they'll ask, well, you beat so-and-so in match play this week, and they try to act like there's something going into it, but there's that has nothing to do with anything. It's like, well, that was that game, and this game could be totally different. You never know. So yeah, there we go. The live stream talking about the Heron Niffen versus Troop Weber match, and I think that, I would be. Dougie didn't care, and he bowled well, and even he was getting away with stuff, and they were trash talking back and forth, and he didn't care. I mean, that's just how bowling goes. Sometimes you get the break, sometimes you don't. Sometimes you bowl better, sometimes you get in people's heads and make them think about it, and they bowl worse than they normally bowl. And I think that happened with. That's something that James and I talked about. Is that Dougie got in their head a little bit, and then especially once they made a couple bad shots here or there, and he just dug at them about it, and they're coming in like, well, we're pro bowlers, we have to win, we have to, there was definitely a whole lot more pressure on them than there was on Dougie and James, but Dougie used that to their advantage. I mean, they're not supposed to, they're just good house bowlers, they're not supposed to beat pros, but use that against them, and he did, and I just love that stuff. So, all right, before I keep rambling and this just kind of goes downhill, I'm probably going to go on ahead and cut it off. I'll probably be back to do this again next week. Just while we're down for everything, the wife will shoot me with a Nerf gun some more, and we'll talk about more stuff. And pin question, what's that, Kratos? Did I miss something up there? Oh, what are the pins with the red crown and black bottoms? I'm not entirely sure. I don't actually know. So, all right. So I want to thank everybody for showing Marshall Kent, I think, has that issue with mental aspect. Yeah, I think there's, and that's something to where some of these college bowlers, I don't necessarily like what happens in college bowling because they teach them mechanics, and everybody be on the same wavelength and everybody pay attention to the coaches. And then when they get out, they throw the ball really well, but they don't really know how to bowl. And I would say that despite my weird mechanical crap, that I'm quite a bit better bowler than a lot of the people that throw the ball better than I do, because, and I talk about, I go back and forth with people on Facebook about this all the time, is I throw it freaking weird, and it doesn't, there's a lot of things I can't do, but I'm a lot better at knocking down the pins than some people that throw it better than I do. And I've started to kind of, appreciate that a little bit more instead of continually feeling bad for, it's like, yeah, I know I don't throw the ball that great, but if you knock the pins down, you know what you're doing. That's more important than throwing the ball pretty. I'd love to throw the ball pretty at the same time, but anyhow, so thanks, Mr. Shimwrecker Enterprises James. Thanks, Aaron A., for answering a lot of people's questions. And like I said, I'll be back and probably do this again. Same bat time, same bat channel next week, because we're not going to be doing anything or going anywhere. So talk about some things, and I had some things I wanted to talk about. I will probably have a couple videos up between now and then. I wanted to do my nationals doubles and singles. I put out the national team stuff, and I'm going to put out some videos on the nationals doubles and singles. And then I know I've got a couple of 2-month report cards to do for something. So, yes, if you would... I'm surprised coaches don't really teach the mental game as much. They teach the mental game, but they teach the mental game more as, being on to one team concept. And a lot of coaches run the team the way that they want to run the team, or with their own personal philosophies or their own personal angle. And the coach makes it more about them than about the actual bowler. And I think, you need to teach the bowlers how to think themselves. You need to teach them how to bowl, not to, be pretty and have great mechanical games. I mean, that's part of it, but I think that there's a focus that's in the wrong place. Not necessarily in the wrong place, it's just there's too much focus in one place. And yeah, having good mechanic and good fundamentals is maybe one of the more important parts of the game. But if you can execute but don't have any idea what you're doing, that's no different than knowing what you're doing and not being able to execute. So you got to have all these things together at the same time. So, and yes, if you want to continue this conversation, this discussion, or whatever, this is what basically my live streams, or how my Discord, or our Discord rather, is all the time. We have our private Discord channel with a bunch of with our community, with James and Aaron A. and Mr. Bill and a bunch of other people on here. So, and that's what the conversation is like all the time. So, yeah, check out James' links there for Patreon and Discord. And we have a lot of fun, and we do this pretty much every day. So, yep, definitely appreciate it. Thanks everybody for coming out. I'm gonna go get something else to eat. It's also been kind of odd too that all of a sudden over the last week and a half, the washer's been shrinking my clothes a whole lot more than usual. Not so much before the last week and a half, but this last week and a half, it's really been shrinking a lot of my clothes. So I'm probably gonna have to work on the washer a little bit. I don't know what's going on there, but no, you don't have to be a patron to get into the private channel. Yeah, obviously you're not a golfer. So yeah, the Sad Boys, we do have a general channel, so you can just sign up for the Discord, which is Storm Nation, and James has the links up there too. But to get into the private channel where we have, our kind of regular community with all these people, you do need to be a patron to get on there. And there are some Patreon specific channels in there, but yes, there's a free Discord. We do have a free Discord channel that you can just sign up for and put stuff in there too. So Storm Nation, search for Storm Nation. Good eating, maybe shrink. No, I'm pretty sure it's the washer. I don't think it has anything to do with eating a bunch or or sitting around and not doing much or whatever else. So, yeah. All right, thanks everybody for coming out. And before I delay this too much longer, I'm going to cut it off here. We will see you next Saturday, probably, same or not probably. We'll see you next Saturday at 2 o'clock. And try to have some things. I'm going to try to work out some things because I actually have the opportunity to. So we're going to try to put this TV here to some good use next week, maybe, hopefully. So I'm done. Thanks everybody for watching. We will see you next time.